In today's comprehensive app building tutorial, you are going to learn how to build a workout fitness app. And this app is modeled after one of the more popular apps in the App Store. This tutorial is sponsored to you by Mastering FlutterFlow, which is my comprehensive training on everything that you need to know in order to build apps with FlutterFlow. Inside the training, you're going to find comprehensive video modules that take you from a beginner to an expert in FlutterFlow. Additionally, you're also going to get access to our exclusive community and our private Discord server where you are free to ask any questions and get help when it comes to FlutterFlow and NoCode. If you're looking to build NoCode apps and if you're looking to master FlutterFlow, there's no better way to become an expert and build amazing apps than by joining our amazing private community. You can learn more about this exclusive training and become a member by checking out the link in the description below. Additionally, if you are interested in viewing and or cloning the app that I'm about to build in this video, you will be able to do so from our Patreon community. And you can learn more about our Patreon community using the link below as well. All right, so the app that we are going to be modeling is this app right here. It's called Strong Workout Tracker Gym Log, and it has over 100,000 ratings with a 4.9 rating in the App Store. So this looks like a fairly popular app. And the way this app works is going to be applicable to pretty much any kind of app, any kind of workout, similar app that you might want to build. Okay, so it's all very, very similar type of app. Okay, it's just this one is one of the more popular ones. Okay. And I went ahead and I downloaded screenshots of the app. So I took the screenshots of my phone and I put them here for us to model. Okay, so if you take a look at this first row here, these are the tabs. Okay, so this app has 5 tabs. The last tab is upgrade. Okay, so maybe we'll have that functionality later as well, but right now I am skipping it. So we have this profile here, and on the profile, it has a graph, you know, workouts per week. It also has daily macros. I don't think we're going to be implementing this functionality, but we'll see if we have time. But the main one is, you know, something simple, like how many workouts per week you're doing. So these are the days of the week, and these are the number of workouts. Okay, so this is going to be a good graph, a good exercise to implement. The next one is history. Okay, so anytime you perform a workout, it's going to save it here. So you'll be able to see your histories. Okay. Now, if you look at this, at these other rows here, so we have another row. This is as a result of an action taken on this top level here. And so, for instance, if you click on calendar, you're going to have a calendar. There's also a start workout as well, but this is similar to what I have here. Okay. So moving right along to the third tab, it's called start workout. And this is what the screen looks like. And you can start an empty workout, but you also have templates. Okay. So templates are essentially pre-made workouts. Okay. Pre-made workouts consisting of some specific exercises. So you can add a new template, or you can just create a workout from existing templates. And we're also going to implement that functionality as well. Now, if you click on start an empty workout, you're going to have a screen that looks something like this. So it starts a timer, right? So as you can see, there's like 3 seconds there because it started a timer, and it says you have to know workout. So you can obviously rename that. That is the default name, and you can add exercises. So you come to the gym, and let's say you want to do 5 sets of bench press or something. You're going to press this button here, start an empty workout, and then you're going to add your exercises, the exercises that you're doing. Now, when you click on this button right here, you're going to have a screen that looks something like this, except it's going to be a pop-up here. So this is the exact same screen, and you can pick an exercise and it's going to be displayed here. So you can add an exercise, and then you can add, you know, the various set information. So how many sets you did, how many reps in that particular set, what weight you use. So this is all standard stuff. Another thing that you can do is if you pick a template, okay, so let's say I pick legs here, it fills in the exercise, right? So with this add exercises, when it's empty, you get this screen here. Now, if you click a start workout from a template, it pre-fills it for you, right? So you don't have to add specific exercises from scratch, right? You don't have to start from scratch. Essentially, you know, you're going to be doing, let's say, a squat, leg extension, a bunch of leg exercises. It's going to pre-fill it for you, right? So it's going to say squat, it's going to say leg extension, it's going to do a flat leg raise, etc., etc. And then all you need to do is fill out this information. So how many sets you did, you know, pound, the weight in that specific set, the number of reps. So very, very standard things, but this is kind of universal, right? It's going to be applicable everywhere. Now, this last tab here, okay, these are the exercises. This is essentially a library or a collection of different exercises, okay? So if you click on an exercise, you're going to have this pop-up that's going to give you some information about the exercise. And this pop-up actually has 4 sections, so like 4 tabs. So about, history, so, you know, when you did those exercises, charts, records, some additional informations that we also want to implement as well. And if you click on new, so you want to add a new exercise, you're going to have this screen here, which means you need to give this exercise a name, specify the body part and the category as well. Now, in terms of categories, this is going to depend on, you know, how we want to structure this app, okay? In this app, a category would be something like cardio. They're going to have other categories that there as well. And so once we get to this section, we can kind of sculpt it. We can design it how we see fit. Now, when it comes to any body parts is obviously going to be arms, legs, back, things like that. All right, so those are the screens that I got from the app, and hopefully this gives you a good idea in terms of what kind of app that we're building. Now, if you scroll down here, I started working on a database schema here just to kind of, you know, just to start something, have an initial schema. And obviously with schemas, they do change throughout the app, but hopefully this type of schema that I have here, it should be fairly static, right? It should kind of remain for the duration of the app, okay? And so we have users, okay? And so it's important, obviously, you know, this app is highly personalized, right? It's your workouts, and so we have to tie it to a user. So we have our users, and then we have the workout. So a user can have multiple workouts, and one workout can obviously have multiple sets, right? So if you go in here, you know, you see these sets here, right? So, you know, you have a workout, and, you know, your workout contains is a selection of sets at the end of the day. Now, each set has the following fields, okay? So it's going to have the number of the set, so whether this is your first set or your 10th set, your 5th set, the pounds that you did, pounds, kilos, whatever, of that specific set, okay? So let's say you were doing bench press, it's your first set, you did 10 reps. In that case, it's going to be 1. And let's say you're doing, I don't know, 145 pounds, right? 145 pounds, and you did it for 10 reps. So let's say you had 3 sets, right? So you're going to have 3 of these records, right? 3 sets, 1, 2, 3, you know, 145, 145, 145, all of them were at 145 pounds, and then reps. So you did, let's say, 12 reps, 10 reps, and then 8 reps, okay? The next 2 collections are 2 top-level collections, okay? And the first one is exercises. So exercises, right? If you come over here, this exercises, this 4th tab here, this screen here, this is like a library, right? This is just a collection of exercises, and it's not linked to any user. It's not personalized, right? It's just like, you know, whatever, 100 exercises. You know, I may only do, you know, the first 10. You might do the last 10, right? Or you might do, you know, some other exercises. They're not connected to any users. It's just, you know, like a static list of exercises, okay? And then we also have templates, right? Something else that I want to store as well. And this thing is right here, right? Templates, we have exercises in templates. Okay, so essentially what a template is, it's a collection of exercises. And just like exercises, templates are not, you know, they're not linked to any users. Okay, so for instance, here we have templates, right? But these templates, so let's say example templates, there's 5 templates. These templates are going to be available to everybody, just like exercises. So regardless if I log in or you log in, we're all going to see the same number of exercises because these things are not personalizable, okay? And the only thing is, right, if I create a template here, this template is going to be linked to me. Okay, so these templates are just examples. They're not linked to any user. Whereas this template is going to be my own personalized template. So let's say I have a routine for legs. It's not this routine here. It's some special routine that I do. Well, I'm going to create this template and it's going to be my personalized template. Okay. And so if we go to the schema here, that is kind of what we have right now. And obviously there's many more things that we need to add to the schema, a lot more details, as they say, the devil is in the details. And that is exactly what we're going to be drawing out and sketching out throughout the app building process. All right, so now that we have screenshots, the pages, and we also have the initial schema, we are ready to start building the app. So I'm gonna head over to FlutterFlow. I'm gonna log in and we're gonna create a brand new app from scratch. We are gonna call this fitness app or workout app. Okay, it's gonna be a blank app. We're gonna say next. And now we need to connect our Firebase project. So I'm gonna head over to my Firebase console, okay? And if you do not have a Firebase account, go ahead and create a Firebase account. It's absolutely free. I'm using free plans with these projects. And so once you have your account, you're gonna be on a dashboard page that looks something like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a brand new project right here. We're gonna call this workout app. Click continue. Click continue. Here I'm just gonna select my default account, create project, and now we're gonna wait a few moments for this project to be created. All right, so it says here that the project is now ready. Click continue, and we are being redirected to our new projects dashboard. Now, Firebase is a collection of different services and different products. And so if you click here, you can see some of the offerings here, some of the services that you can use. But in this specific tutorial, we're only going to be using a couple of services. So we're going to be using the Firestore database. So I'm going to select that, and we also need to enable it. So I'm going to click on Create Database. And here I'm just going to start it in test mode, and the test mode has a setting that it's going to stop working in like 30 days. And you can obviously change it and all that, but it's a good mode if you're just building a test app. We're going to click on enable here. Okay, so it's now provisioning our cloud Firestore, which is going to be our data store database here. And now we have been redirected to the dashboard for our cloud Firestore. Okay, we also need another service. We're going to go back to build. We need an authentication because we're going to have user logins and we're going to track, all these things by users. Click on get started. And here you can select the provider, right? So a provider is basically the system, a third-party system that can log in the users for you and tell Firebase Authentication that, hey, we've logged this user in, go ahead and log him in as well. So you can select as many of these as you want, but I'm just going to select name and password just to keep it simple. Click on enable, click on save. And now we have email and password set up, okay? So the next thing you want to do is you want to connect this to your FlutterFlow app. So we're going to click here, project settings, and you want to select the project ID. So I'm going to select this, copy this, go back to FlutterFlow, paste it in here. I'm going to click on connect. And now it's telling me that FlutterFlow does not have access to this Firebase account. I need to add this email as an editor to the project. And that makes sense because we've just created this Firestore project, and FlutterFlow cannot and shouldn't have access to it unless we explicitly give it access. So we're going to go back to Firebase, users and permissions. And here we're going to add a member, paste it, and it should be Firebase. And we're going to give it an editor role. Done, add member. Okay, and now if we go back, click on connect, it should connect. Okay, so it says here success. Next thing you want to do, you want to click on auto generate config files here, generate files. Okay, wait a couple of moments. Okay, now it's done. We're going to enable authentication and we're going to create the user collection. The next thing we need to do is we need to set up our initial pages. So the entry page is going to be the login page. So if you click here, you can create this page from scratch, but there are a bunch of templates that do just that. So we're going to go into Auth, and then you can create the page that you want. I've been using this one, but you can select any page that you want. So I'm going to say use this theme, and I'm going to name this page login, create page. And the logged in page, this is going to be the page that once the user logs in, the initial page that they're going to view. So if we go back to our kind of screenshots, this is going to be this profile page, not a profile page. And you can call it, I'm just going to call it home page. Okay. You can call it whatever you want, but I don't want to call it the profile page because a profile page is going to be another page where the user can see, they can modify it and see their settings, their avatar, name, email, things like that. This is a home page or a dashboard. So let's just call it the home page. Come back here, and this is going to be a blank page. I'm just going to select blank page, and I'm going to say home page. So now we've configured everything. We can start building. Okay, so now we have this login page that we can use, and we have a couple of errors. So there's no auth action hasn't properly set confirm password. Okay, so the reason we have this error is that this is a create account section of the page, because we also have the login page. But for the create account, in order to create an account, you need to have another field that also confirms their password. So if you select this and you come here, you open this up, you see it needs a confirm password field. So this is a bug with FlutterFlow. They're giving you a template, but they forgot the confirm password field as well. So this is really easy to fix. We're gonna find this password, right click, duplicate, and now we have another one. So once we have the second one, I'm just gonna call it password 2, and then go back to get started, and you want to select this password, and this error should go away now. Okay, so we don't have that error anymore. Now there's still a couple of things that I want to do to this page before we start setting up our data schema and all that. Let me go ahead, and there's connect with Google. I'm just going to remove this because we're not using this. We're only using email authentication, right? So for login, I'm going to do the same thing. So now we have this configured. Okay, so you can run it. It's gonna display just fine. Before we go further, let's go ahead and set up our schema, our database schema. This is very, very important because you won't be able to access your database without setting up the schema first. So if you head over to Firestore, you can configure your schemas here. So when we talk about schemas, we are referring to these things here that we set up. We have this initial database schema, and now we have to configure it. Now, when you're building an app, the most amount of time that you should be spending, right? This is where you're going to be doing a lot of thinking and planning. And this is going to be setting up your schema, okay? Because when you're looking at all of this, the next thing that you should be doing is you should be thinking about how you're going to be storing this data. What is the schema going to look like? Because with no-code tools, it's relatively easy to do all the logic and displaying things, but what's hard is the schema, okay? Because the schema is something that you have to create that will mirror the kind of app that you're building. Because if you don't have the right schema, you won't be able to display this data. It's going to be difficult. So this is something that you're going to get better over time, and you don't have to get this right initially. You can keep doing it. You're gonna get better with experience. And so let me show you the initial schema that I came up with after some thinking, some brainstorming, and I will explain to you why I have this schema. So if we go back to FlutterFlow, we have our users. We're gonna leave this alone. This schema is actually created for us by FlutterFlow, so we don't have to do this, right? This one, this users, it's done by FlutterFlow, and it connects to our Firestore database. So if we go to Firestore database, we don't have a user schema, and that's fine, because after we create that first user, after we log in as the first user, create an account and log in, you're gonna have this collection here, okay? But everything else we need to create ourselves. And so if you take a look at this diagram here, I have users, and then under users, we are gonna have workouts, and under workouts, we're gonna have sets. So let's go ahead and set that up. So I'm gonna create the new collection. It's gonna be a sub collection under users, and the collection name is gonna be workouts, okay? And when you're creating your collections, keep it plural. So users, workouts, products, okay? That's a good convention to have. So we're gonna click on create. And now we need to set up the fields for the workouts collection. Okay? So if we go back here and look at our workouts, what will the workouts collection have? Okay, so it's gonna have a name. So we're gonna start from scratch, and it's going to have a name, which is going to be a string, okay? Because we need a name for the specific workout, right? And if you head down here, you can see that under workouts, we're going to have sets. Now, there's one problem with the schema here is that this schema is fine if you are not using FlutterFlow essentially, because with FlutterFlow, you can't have it, 3 levels deep. You can only have it 2 levels deep. So if I come in here and I have workouts, and let's say I create a new collection called sets, I can make it sub collection and I can only choose users. So there's no workouts in there. And so FlutterFlow does not support, more than 2 levels deep sub collection. Okay, so this is not going to work. This is going to work in all the other situations if you're building it by, from scratch with code, but it's not going to work with FlutterFlow. So we need to do something else here, right? We still want to store sets at this workouts level, but we're going to do something else. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a data type called set, right? So the data type is going to be called set, and we can capitalize it here and just keep it singular because it's just one data type. And the set is going to have a bunch of fields, okay? And so what kind of information do you want to store on a set level? Well, we want to store a couple of things, right? The first is we want to store the weight, right? So if you're, if you have one set, okay, how much weight are you using? You're doing a set of squats. What is the weight? So we're gonna put weight and we are gonna store it as an integer. Okay, we're gonna press create. Another field that we want to store in the set level is the reps. So how many reps, right? A set has a specific number of reps. So I have, I did 3 sets. The first set was 12 reps, then 10 reps, then 8 reps. We're gonna say reps, and it's also an integer. Okay, press create. And so now we have a custom data type called set. And if we go back to our schema here, go back to workouts, we can add that set on this workout level as a custom data type. So we no longer need to do it as a sub collection, okay, which we can do anyway. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say sets. And right here, the data type, we're going to select data type and we're going to pick set here, okay? And we're going to say it's a list because a workout can have and will usually have multiple sets. I mean, it's very rare you're going to have a workout with just one set. You're going to have maybe 3 sets or maybe 6 sets or maybe 10 sets. And so this is a list, okay? Press that. And now what we have is a workout. We're going to give it a name, which is user configurable, whatever you want. And then it's going to have multiple sets. It's going to be an array of sets where a set is, reps, number of reps and the weight. The next thing we need to add is a top level collection called exercises. Okay, so we're going to say exercises here, press create, start from scratch, and these are going to be essentially a library of exercises that anybody can access. Any user, they're not going to be specific to a user, but a user can select an exercise there and add it to their custom workout. So we're going to say name of an exercise, a string. And the next thing that we want to store is maybe a category of an exercise and also the body part. So I'm just going to say category. I'm not really sure what category is going to be, but I did see that that field in the app. So maybe we're going to, use it. If not, we can always remove it. So string, and then we have the body part. Okay, so the body part is going to be a string as well. Okay, we're going to say string as a body part. And so now we have 3 fields: name, category, and body part. Okay, and now when we create a workout, right, we're going to have the name of a workout, but we can also store the actual exercise, right? So we have exercises here. So something like a squat, bench press, dumbbell press, you name it. This thing is going to have an ID, right? Every document is going to have a document ID in Firestore, and here we can store it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say exercise. Okay, so we're going to come here and we're going to say document reference and exercises. Okay, so that way we can link it back to the exercise. And so far we have users, workouts, and exercises. Another thing that we need to store are the templates. Okay, so if you recall, you go back here, we also have templates. So if you come over here to the start workout, we have template. Okay, so templates are kind of like exercises in the sense that they are kind of a library, right? And they're available to everybody. And so what is a template? Well, a template has a name and it has a list of exercises, and it also has a predefined, number of sets per exercise. Okay, so we're gonna go back here, gonna create a new top level collection. We're gonna call it templates. Click create, start from scratch, and here we need to put in the fields for this top level templates collection. So we're gonna add name, and the next field that we can store is a list of exercises for that template. Okay, so instead of doing a sub collection, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say exercise refs. And that way we can have an array of references back to exercises. Document reference, I'm gonna say exercise, and this is gonna be a list. All right, so now we have users. We have different workouts as a sub collection of users here, and each workout will have a name, a list of sets, and a reference back to the exercise. Next, we have exercises, which is just a simple top level collection, name, category, and body part. Next, we have templates, which where each document is going to have a name and an array of exercise references. So that is a nice start, and I try to spend a lot of time on this because I like to think it through, because if you don't get it right, it's gonna be painful when you're building the app. So think about this, and rewatch this part if you need to kind of understand why I did the way I did it. Now, of course, this is not the final version. As we're developing the app, we might come back and make a couple of changes. We might realize that it's part of development. All right, so now that we've set up our schema, we are ready to start building out the screens, the UI, as well as the logic. Let's head over to our UI builder, and let's start working page by page. So let's go ahead and create this home page here, and I believe we already have that page created. So we have the home page here. So this is going to be the home page. So let's go ahead and call it home page. And what is this page going to be displaying? So right now it has this dashboard thing, and it basically has a chart, right? It has a chart of workouts per week. So this is the week, and this is the number of workouts. So very, very simple chart that we probably want to display as well. And in fact, just looking at it, I realized that workouts needs another field. The workouts collection, the documents in that collection, they need another field to store the actual date, right? So that we can do this calculation. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our schema, and I'm going to quickly add another field to workouts. Okay, so I'm just going to say, I typically do TS for timestamp. Okay, in fact, let's just call it, so let's call it timestamp, and we're going to come here. We're going to pick date time here. Okay. So now that, when the user enters their workout, starts their workout, we're just going to use now, which is the current time, and we're going to store this timestamp. And then later on, we can calculate, how many workouts they had per a set of time, per week, per month, whatever. Okay, so this is going to be our main page here. And I'm going to do this chart a little bit later. I want to, set up these pages first. So we're going to do this chart a little bit later. And so let's go ahead and look at our pages here. So this is the home page. Actually, let me switch to dashboard. I think dashboard is nicer. Okay, so let's leave it as is for now. And let's go ahead and add a new page right here. And this is going to be this history page. Okay, so this page that I want to build, this is going to be a list. So let's go look at the templates here and see if there's something that kind of fits in with what we're doing. So a list, take a look. There's some users, order history, messages, budget, product list, categories. All right, so let's see how it looks. Okay, so there's nothing there. So let's go ahead and let's just do it from scratch here. I'm going to create a blank page, and we're going to say history. This is the page. We're going to say history here. And essentially what this page is going to display is previous workouts. Let's keep it simple. Create the list view here, and we're going to fix it up later, right? When I'm building apps, I want to have a prototype working. A working prototype very, very quickly. I don't really I don't want it to be perfect. I just want to make sure things work, all right? Because if you can get a prototype, everything else is very, very simple. So we have this list here. and it's going to have a list of rows. We're going to have these rows here, and inside the row we are going to have some information, right? So I don't have the information because I didn't finish any workout, so I don't know how it displays, but later on I'm going to add it. And so let's just go ahead and list just different workouts. So for this list view, we're going to have a backend query collection. This is going to be workouts, and the value source is going to be the user, right? So authenticated user reference right here. So now we're pulling in the workout informations, right? The workout information. So we have the row, and inside the row, let's have a couple of text fields. Duplicate it. Let's have another one. Okay, so we have two text fields. Let's go ahead and center this row. All right, and let's go ahead and display some information. Okay, so what do we have? Let's go ahead and look at our schema. So we have name, sets. Yeah, sets is good. Yeah, so let's just display name, sets, and the date. Okay, later on, we're going to display some more information. So name, sets, and the dates. Come back here, duplicate. So this is going to be name. So workout name. This is going to be the number of sets that we did. And you can click here, and then you're going to have an option to list number of items, because that is an array. We can't, it doesn't make sense to work with an array. So we're going to say number of items, and here is going to be the date workout, and this is going to be our timestamp, and we're going to format it. Date time format. I'm just going to have a simple format. All right, so now we have a simple list view, and this is good because, we can see if it works, right? We can see that we have, once the user starts the workout, they finish the workout, we can see if the data is being saved correctly. So I'm going to do a little bit of padding up on top, something like this. So the way this works right now is, if there are no workouts, it has another, no workouts performed, completed workouts will appear here, start workout. So we can do that as well. So if we go to this list view and we scroll down, we have this empty list widget. So we can create a widget, and we can create a component that will display some information if there's nothing there. So let's go ahead and create this component real quick. So I'm going to go to a column, just going to create a container. And inside this container, we are going to have some information. So what is this? No workouts performed. So it has like 3 rows and then a button. So let's create a row. Let's add another row. Actually, yeah, in fact, let's add a column first. Let's replace this, replace by a column. And then inside we can create our rows, rows, and a button. Okay, so this is going to be that empty list view here. And it's not going to appear here. It's going to appear only if we don't have any workouts. Okay, so this row is going to have a text. This is going to have a text. And this text is going to say, what is it going to say? No workouts performed. And is it centered? Yeah, it's centered actually. So we're going to center this row, center this row. And this thing is going to say no workouts. And this thing is going to say completed workouts will appear here. Completed workouts will appear. And let's go ahead and give it some padding. Okay, let's go ahead and we have a container here. We have a column. So we can actually, what we can do is we can wrap this. Actually, yeah, we can just do a padding on the column. So something like this. That looks a lot better. And then we can do a little bit of padding on the rows. So maybe some bottom padding like this. Okay. Okay, perfect. And then this button is gonna say what? Here we can even have an icon. And we're going to say, the button is going to say start workout. And so now what we can do is we can take this whole thing, right click, and we can convert it to a component. And we can say empty, workout history empty, or actually just history empty, because this page is history. Okay, so now we have a component. We can get out, and what we can do is we can go back to list view. And here we can select the component, history empty, and then we can delete it. We already saved the component. And so now if you run it and there's no workouts, which there aren't this time, it's going to display that empty widget, okay? So the next thing I want to do is I want to create a tab bar, right? Because there's a nav bar, or nav bar essentially, that's what it's called. So there are 5 items, and we're going to have something around there. I'm going to go into settings, nav bar, show nav bar, and now we need to configure the pages. And so we're gonna have this history, obviously is gonna have a nav bar, page level, show nav bar, And login is not going to have a nav bar because they're only going to see that if they're not logged in. Homepage is going to have a nav bar. Okay, so we have homepage, which is the main page, and then we have history. So let's go ahead and set an icon for history. Okay, so we have some history icons. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that looks good. And we have 2 pages. So what else do we need? Start, workout, exercise, and upgrade. We also need the profile page. I know the main app doesn't have it, but I like to have it. So we're gonna create a profile. And in fact, I'm gonna go into settings and I'm gonna select the page go with. So this one is nice. There's lots of things here. Let's see, what's a nice one? Basic one. Call it profile, create page. And this profile is also gonna have show nav bar. It already has this, it's a location history, so I'm going to say profile. In fact, I'm going to say person. Sharp, how about just person? There you go, person. Let's go ahead, create the next page. And this is going to be the first kind of real page with some logic, with some start workout. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new page. We're going to say, and what are we going to have on this page? I have a feeling that this is going to be we're going to do it from scratch. Yeah, we're going to do it from scratch. It's a unique page. And so this is going to be called start workout. Okay, create page. And what is the title? Start workout. Okay. Easy enough. And now this page is kind of busy. There's lots of things happening. So it's actually very simple. We have my templates, then we have example template, okay, and then we have a quick start. So there are like 3 sections on this. So let's go ahead and build it section by section. So quick start, templates, my templates, and example templates. Well, actually 2 sections, right? Quick start and then templates, and then they're split up by templates that are associated with me and then just regular templates. So let's go ahead and do this quick start right here. Come back here and create a container, and let's make it width so that we can see it. And inside this container, we're going to have 2 rows, well, 1 row and then a button. So quick start, I'm going to come here, row, and then over here, in fact, we need a column again. So we need to have a column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say wrap this inside of a column. And in fact, okay, so we have this container. And we need to have another row. So that means we need a column. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this in a column, and then we can create another row. We can just duplicate, in fact, not a row, but a button. Well, yeah, it's going to be inside a row, right? So we're going to duplicate this. And instead of text, I'm just going to have a button. And this button is going to say start an empty workout. I'm just going to say start a new workout. Okay, just something simple. Let's add some padding, maybe 30. And let's go ahead and center it. It's going to be centered. This row is going to be centered. And in fact, this thing here, what is it? What is it saying? It's saying quick start. So that's it. It's actually just text start. It's not doing anything. We can make it a little bit bigger. How about something? Yeah. Okay. So maybe something like this. Do a little bit of bottom padding. Okay. Looks pretty good. We need to do a padding in this this container, right? So this column, actually the column should have some padding. Let's do like it. So something like this just to start with, right? Something like this to start with. And then we're going to have another container, right? So I'm going to duplicate this. Actually, I'm just going to add a container. And in this container, we are going to display things, right? We're going to have templates. So my templates, example templates. So for now, I'm just going to display just all templates. Okay, later on, we're going to add my template. So let's go ahead and add a column that we can add more than 1 item there. This container, remove the width, 300 pixel width. Column, and we are gonna do a row, and then we're gonna add a text field, and we're gonna make it a little bit bigger, so maybe something like this. And this is gonna say templates. This thing here, let's remove the width, but then we can also do the padding. 300 padding, 30 padding. We have templates, and what do we have there? So now we have kind of this grid view, different templates, and we also, it says here example template. Yeah, so I'm gonna make this bigger. Yeah, that's maybe too big. Okay, that looks perfect. That looks awesome. And next, we are going to be displaying example templates. So we're going to have a grid. So let's go ahead and this real quick. I'm just going to say example template. Okay, let's come in here, up on top. Now let's add more stuff. So now we can add that grid, this grid view. And this grid view, we are gonna load it up with data from our template. So we're gonna come in here, query collection, templates, list of documents, confirm, and then inside this grid view, we're gonna have, maybe some containers that are gonna display it. But what you want to do is you want to have a card. Search for a card, you can have a card. And take a look at this grid view here. Cross-axis count, cross-axis spacing. All right, so that looks better. Our container has a height. So if we remove the height, and now if we go back to this container right here, and let's say we increase the height, we can see our items here. Okay, these are going to be the templates. Now, we still need to configure the actual cells. And inside them, we have basically, three main elements. We have the name of the template. We have some options here, things maybe you can rename this template, maybe use this template. We're gonna take a look what exactly it can do. But it's it's kind of self-explanatory, right? We can if they click on it, it's gonna create a new exercise with this template. But maybe this one you can delete it, rename it, stuff like that. So this is gonna be the name of the template, and here it's gonna be a list of exercises inside of the template. Okay, so let's go ahead and create more rows. Okay, row 1, and I'm going to create another row, except we won't be able to create another row because this is just a container. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this widget in a column so that we can create multiple rows, duplicate it. So now we have 2 rows, and the first row is going to have the name of the template. So we're going to have text, and the second row is going to have the name of the actual exercise in that template. So we're going to go in here. This is the name of the template, name, and make it tad bigger. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to list the actual exercises here. Now, because we are storing a list of exercise references as an array, we can actually use a list view to display all of them. So instead of having this row text, which is not going to work anyway, we're going to go to the column level and add a list view here. Okay, and in this list view, we can simply display the list of those exercises. So I can remove this column here. We don't really need it for now. And this list view, I'm going to come here. And instead of adding a backend query, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do generate dynamic children. I'm going to come here, templates. I'm going to select this exercise refs, click confirm. And I'm going to say variable name is just exercise. Okay, confirm. And now we have a list view being generated. Now, the problem is this is a list view of not exercises, a list view of exercise references. So we still need to look up the actual exercise from the reference. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to add a text under the list view so that we can display the exercise. And inside that text widget, for that text widget, we're going to come here. We're going to do a backend query, and we're going to do document from reference. And the collection is exercises because we're looking up specific exercise. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to select exercise item because this thing is a reference. Say confirm. And now this thing right here is a specific exercise. So I can simply come here and I can just come back to exercise and I can display anything that I want. So in this case, I just want to do name. And so hopefully now this templates is going to display the name of the template and the exercises in that specific template. But the problem is we don't have any data yet. So before I continue, I like to test to make sure that things fit in. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my database and I'm going to create the exercises, right? So I'm going to go back here, and what I want to do is I want to create a couple of exercises and I want to create a couple of collections so that, make sure that we have data there. So let's go ahead and follow a schema here. So we're going to create these 2 right here. So name, category, body part, and then templates is very simple. Name, category, body part, come back here. And this is exercises, name, category, body part. That's what I have, right? Name, category, body part. I'm just going to say name is squat. Category is, full body. I don't know what the category is going to be, or even if we're going to use it, but I'm just going to have it for now. And body part is legs. Okay, save. So we have one exercise. Let's go ahead and create a template collection. So this is going to be templates, and let's go ahead and fill in these fields here. What do we have? We just have name and then an array of exercise references. So name and then an array. So we have one exercise and I need to find the reference for it. So for now, I'm just going to say, legs, a legs template. And now I'm going to go back to exercises and I'm going to copy this ID, go back to templates and add another field. And this field is going to be exercise refs. I think that's right. Exercise refs here. And this is going to be a reference. And in fact, actually, this is going to be an array right? So I'm going to do that. So now this thing has one reference. This template has one exercise. Okay, so let's go back and let's configure our these rules. Okay, so you can simply go in here. Now right here you have 4 things that you can configure: create, read, write, and delete. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna deselect all of this, so that we don't have any warnings or anything like that. And we're not gonna be writing exercises from the app. For templates, we're not gonna be creating templates just yet, creating new templates. So this is fine. All right, so I'm gonna click on deploy. Okay, so it's telling me the rules that it's going to implement. Deploy now. Okay, now it's deployed, and we don't have any warnings. We don't have any errors now. Okay, so everything is set up. Now let's go back to our app and take a look at the data here. 1 template, 1 exercise. So let's go ahead and run this app. And we would probably need to create a new account before we can log in, because we don't have any account. So I'm going to start a test environment and run this app for the first time and see if we are getting the right data being displayed and things like that. All right, so here's our app running for the very, very first time, a very, very exciting moment. All right, so we are seeing this login screen. Well, it's a create account screen, in fact. And we can go to login, but we can't log in because we don't have a username. We don't have an account set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new account. And in fact, when I start typing, you see I don't see anything. And that is because FlutterFlow has a bug in this template where the color of the text is not configured. So let's go ahead and fix this real quick. Go ahead into login. So if you highlight this and you scroll down, you will see that the text color is white when it should not be white. It's primary text here, and the same thing for the password fields, not secondary text, primary text. And in fact, I think it's the same for login. Let's go ahead and take a look at the login. Email. No, for the login is fine. Text color is fine. So it's only for the create account. Okay, let's go ahead and reload the app. This should be a lot quicker now. All right, there we go. So now if we start typing, we can see the actual text. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new account. Okay, click on get started, and we should have a new account created and automatically redirected to dashboard here. Now dashboard does not display anything, but if we go into history, you see it says no workouts performed, completed workouts should appear here. So that works. And let's go ahead, and actually we don't have the tab, the nav bar enabled for that page. Let's go ahead and do that right now. This is the start workout. We need to enable the nav bar because we can't access this page otherwise. Show nav bar, and let's go ahead and take a look at the icon here. Maybe workout, exercise, about start. Okay, we'll think of we'll search for other ones. I'm just gonna select this one, and I want to reorder the order of the items in the tab bar, and you can do that right here. So I always want profile to be last, homepage to be first, and then the other ones depending on the app. That's kind of how I do it. Let's go back, instant reload. All right, there's the app. History is showing us that custom component. Go here, and guess what? We see it. Okay, so there's this quick start, and it says here templates, and this is the Lex template, and we see 1 exercise squat in that template. So it works fine. In fact, we can let's add another exercise here. What I'm going to do is, and in fact, an easy way to duplicate different documents is by clicking here. You can select anything that you want here. It doesn't really matter. And they have there's a nice feature inside this Google Cloud that enables you to easily copy and create a new document. So if you come over here, you can just click here and you can click on add similar documents. So that way it's a lot easier to create more similar documents where you can just modify fields. So let's say I do bench press. This is chest. I don't know, upper body. I still don't know what category is for, but we'll see. Okay, so now we have 2 exercises here. Come back here, we have 2 exercises. And so now in this template, I can add a new exercise. So I can just copy this right here, go to templates, and I can just add a new field. And this field is going to be a reference. Document path, save field. So now this template has 2 fields. Go back to our app and it reloads automatically. So this template has Lex template. Well, it's not Lex template. It's just a regular template now, squat and bench press. Okay. And let's add another template while we add it. So let's go ahead and duplicate that template here. Go back to templates, come back here. And let's go ahead and add a similar document. And we're going to say, I don't know, upper body template. Okay, same thing. Go back to our app and we have an upper body template. We're having some, overflowing issues, right? Overflow, that's nothing. We're going to fix that a little bit later. But the most important thing is that it's displaying templates here, right? And remember, our template has a lot of that setup where we have a list of references. We need to dereference all of this. So I'm glad it's being displayed. So this is good. All right, let's go back to our app and let's take a look at what we need to do next. So the behavior here is that there's a button that says start a new an empty workout, right? So this thing here, so there's an action that needs to be added, an action here, and then there's also an action here. And also this thing has 3 dots, which means that you can modify, maybe rename this template, or probably not delete it, because these are, community templates, if you will. So you won't be able to delete it, but maybe rename it. So we're going to add that later. But for now, we need an action that essentially, if you click on something, either this, or if you click on this, you are going to have a new workout, right? So if you click on this, on the template, it's going to show you this screen. But if you click on this button, you're going to see this screen. So let's go ahead and create a new workflow where if you click on this, you're going to be shown this screen here. So this thing here is not a page, it's a pop-up, right? It's like a drawer that pops up from the bottom, and essentially it's displaying this information. You click on that, the timer goes off. It's going to generate a name for you because this is just an empty workout, and you can probably rename it. And then here you can add exercises to this workout, okay? So you will add exercises and we will have this information stored as well, okay? So you can add exercises and we're gonna be storing that information. And then when they finish the workout, we're gonna save all of these exercises together. So let's go ahead and create this page here. Let's go back here. And what I like to do is for components, right? I like to create just a test page that I know I'm not going to use. And I'm going to have my component information here, so I'm going to have that. And that way I can, turn that into a component and then remove everything because I don't need it anymore. Okay. So let's go back here. And what do we need to do? So there's going to be a generated name, a timer that's going to be displayed. So once you press start, it's going to have a timer that's going to start running. And then you're going to be able to add exercises and cancel your workout if you press it by accident or you change your mind. And then there's the finish, where if you click finish, it's going to save all of this information. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and add some of this stuff in there, right? So we're going to add, a row for the name. We're going to have a row. Let's give it a little bit of top padding. It's not right against the app bar here. We're going to have text here. And we are also going to have the timer that has went off. So we are going to be storing that timer as well. So let's go ahead and duplicate this. Okay, so we duplicated that. And there's some notes. So you can add notes as well. Duplicate that. So this is going to say random workout. Let's give it a little bit. So the row needs some padding on the bottom. Give it that bottom padding. So this is a random workout. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Title large. Okay, that looks better. And this thing is going to say, this is the timer. Okay, so the timer is going to go off and we're going to track what's happening. So we're going to do that. And this is going to be just notes. Let's add a couple of buttons there. So I'm going to add more rows and another row. I'm going to duplicate this. This thing is going to have a button. Thing is going to have a button. Let's go ahead and center these. Go ahead and give it a bottom pad. Okay, so this thing is going to say what? Add exercises and cancel workout. Add exercises. This is going to say cancel workout. Now, if they click on add exercises, it's going to display something similar to this, essentially where they can select, one or multiple exercises, then click on add. And it's going to add them here. It's going to list them. It's going to add them to their workout. So what we need to do is when they click this button, we need to display some kind of a screen that looks something like this, some kind of a pop-up another component basically that enables them to select different workouts there. And so what we can do is we can create this exercises page here, test out, make sure it works, and then use that as a component when they click on add exercises, okay? Because it's the same functionality as this page, right? This page by itself just lets you search different exercises. It doesn't let you add it because it's like a static page, but we can use this as a component. So when they click on add exercises, we can simply pull up that page and enable the user to kind of select the exercises that they want for this specific workout. And so let's go ahead and create this exercises page, test it, make sure it works, and then use it as a component for this pop-up, okay? Let's go back into the app. I'm going to create another page here. It's going to be a blank page, exercises, okay? Create page, and now we have exercises. All right, and let's give it a app nav bar, and it's going to, I don't know, I'm really bad with picking these, but we can change them later. All right, let's go ahead and rearrange the pages there. We have exercises, that's exercises. And here we can just have a simple list view with the exercise, and then we can use the code on this page for our custom component. At a child widget, there's going to be a list view, and we're going to feed it static list of exercises here, list of documents, confirm. And on this page, what do we want? So there's an image there. We can add that later. So this right here is like a container with 2 columns. First column just has this image, and then the second column has 2 rows. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, well, in fact, we're going to delete this text. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add a row, and then inside the row, we are going to have 2 columns. And inside the second column, we are going to have 2 rows. Okay, so that's kind of what it looks like. Let's go ahead and expand it a little bit. So if we take a look at this thing just takes a little bit, while this one takes a lot. So if we go back here, we're going to go to the second column, and we're going to expand it all the way. Okay, we're going to make it all the way till the end. We can also do this. In fact, that's fine as well. Expand it works too. And so this thing is going to have an image, a little bit of a big image here. So let's go ahead and make it smaller. Okay, that looks better. All right, and that image, we can give it some padding, not like it's not against everything. And inside these ones, we are going to have some text, some exercise information. This is going to be the name of the exercise, and this is going to be the body part. And so the name, let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so something like this. All right, so that looks pretty good. Okay, that looks really, really good. All right, so let's go ahead and run it, and let's see if it works. And then we can add it as a way for them to select exercises in the other screen. So let's go ahead and run this. In fact, we're just going to do an instant reload on our test mode there. Okay, so this is the dashboard, nothing on the dashboard, no history. Quick start works, and this one works. Look at that. So the image, obviously we don't have the image, but these are our 2 exercises, right? Remember, we have 2 exercises. We have bench press and we have squats. You have squats. I think it should be squats. Okay, so bench press and squats. So this works. And now what we need to do is we need to have this page where they click on start workout. It's going to display a screen. So if we go back here, our start workout screen, right? This thing right here, what we want to do is we want to have something like this. So random workout, and we want to have, add exercise. So if they click on add exercise, we're going to display another screen that's going to allow them to add multiple exercises and add them to this new workout. Okay, so right now what I want to do is I want to take this, and I want it to pop up when they add when they click on that button, the start workout, and they click on start workout right here. I want to display that thing there. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix up this these elements here. So let's see, this column, do a little bit of padding. Okay, so something like this, random workout, looks good. Do we want to wrap it? We can also wrap this whole thing in a container as well if you want. So for instance, I can wrap this widget in a container, remove all this, And now we can actually set a background color to it, right? Okay, so now we have this container, we have this column random workouts. This here is going to be the timer. We have some nodes that they can modify later on. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this container, right click, convert to component, and we're going to call this start workout comp. Okay, create new component. And now let's go back and let's go to start workout. And now when they click on this, we want that component to pop. So we're going to add an action. And what I want to do is I want that notification. This is going to be a bottom sheet. We're going to do a bottom sheet. Select component is going to be start workout component. We can do all kinds of parameters, which we'll need to do later probably. But let's go ahead and see if this works. All right, so this is our app. We go to this start workout page, click on start workout. You see how it fills up the entire page. So let's go ahead and fix that because we don't want to show all this empty space. We want to show the stuff that's important. We come back here, you go into your components, you go into column. You can simply click here, use minimum amount of size on the main axis, and you see how it shrinks it. Go back here, do an instant reload. And now if you go to the start workout page, click on start workout, you can see that it only takes up the needed amount. Okay. And obviously if you add more stuff to it, it's going to automatically expand. It's never going to show empty space now, which is kind of what we want. All right. So we have this pop-up here. And now what we need to do is when they click on add exercises, we want to display another component that will allow them to select the exercises and add those exercises to this new workout. Or if they click on cancel workout, they can just cancel out and forget about starting a workout. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is that when they click on this button, I want to display a list of exercises. And if you recall in the test tab, here we have this page. And so we need to create another component that's going to list the exercises. So we're going to come here, go into our exercises, and what we need to do is we need to turn that into a component. We still need to modify it, but right now what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to convert it to a component, and what I'm going to call it is exercises. So now if you go in here, we have this exercises comp here, have this component. Okay, so now if I go back to pages, I'm going to go into my start workout. I'm going to come in here, and this pops up a component called start workout. So I'm going to go here. Now on this level, what I want to do is I want to create an action that's going to do the same thing. Widget UI interaction is going to do this bottom sheet show, and we're going to load up this exercises component. So let's go ahead and exit out, and let's see, I'm going to reload the app. All right, so here's the app. We go into start workout, click here, and then we have this thing here. Now, as you can see, it doesn't have a background and it goes way up. So we need to fix a couple of things. Let's go ahead and fix that. So we're going to go to and this is the component here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in a container. That way we can give it a nice background. Wrap this widget in a, reset this. And now by default, it has a white background, the secondary background. So it has a background. And right now what I want to do is I want to make sure that it's only taking up the minimum amount of size, the x-axis and the main axis. And for columns, the main axis is this, vertical. Okay, for rows, it's horizontal. All right, so let's go ahead and reload the app and see if that works. All right, click on this, start workout, add exercises, and now we have this another thing pop up here. We can exit out same way. So this is really nice, but we don't want to just to display the list of exercises. If you go back here, because if you go back here, you can see that this pop-up screen as a result of this empty workout. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it right here. So what happens here is that this pop-up lists the available exercises, but then you can also click on the check mark, select multiple of them, and then click add, and then that's going to add it to the list of the exercises for your workout. And it's going to look something like this, right? It's going to have the exercise here, the sets, exercise again, sets, etc., etc. And so that's exactly what we want to do. So if we go back to the app, this component, we need to add more things to it. And specifically what we need to add is we need to make it into checkboxes so that, you know, we can add checkboxes or just have a list view that displays checkboxes built in. And we need to add this button that keeps state of how many items we picked. And then if you add it, it's gonna add these exercises to our workout that we just started. Okay. Now this component has a simple list view, but if you click here and you search for checkbox, you have these checkbox tiles here. Okay, so we can use that. So if you click on that and you replace it, this is kind of what it looks like. And this is perfect for us because it has a title, it has a subtitle, and it has a checkbox there. So that is what we're going to be using here. And in fact, let's go ahead and configure this. So this title is going to be exercise name, subtitle, what's that? It's going to be this body part. And then you have a checkbox that is going to be on and off depending on if we select it or not. Come back here. And so here you can set an initial value. So we can deselect it. And now the initial value is not selected. Okay, so let's go ahead and rerun the app. See how it looks. Okay, there's the app. Start workout, add exercises. And then we have this list of exercises, right, with the body group. And we have these checkboxes. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create a kind of a state tracker that tracks how many exercises we added to our workout. And then when we click out, so when we, you know, press submit or done or something like that, it's going to close, but it's going to add these exercises to our main workout. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this kind of top area here that's going to track how many exercises that we added so far. Okay. So let's go back here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add at the top level, right? We have this column. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a row at the top level right here. And then in this column, what we can do is, in fact, we can just keep it simple, and we can do text, and we can actually align it. And this thing is going to display the number of items that we added. In order for this to track the number of items that we added, we need to track how many times, you know, this thing was selected. What we can do is we can go to this widget here, to this component, and we can add a state field. Now, this state field is only going to be available in this component. That's absolutely fine because we don't need that state field anywhere else. That's just to display to the user. We're not going to be using that state field anywhere. So we're going to say total, yeah, just total is fine. It's going to be an integer, and the initial value is going to be 0. Right, so when it starts running, there's no total. We're going to say confirm. Okay, and now we're going to display this value component state right here, total. So now this is going to display 0, and obviously we can format it later. Now, if you click on this checkbox list tile, what we can do is we can add an action. You can open this up, and you have control toggled on, toggled off. So if it's toggled on, you want to add to the state variable. If it's toggled off, you want to remove from the state variable. Okay, so we're going to come in here, state management, update component state. And for toggled on, we're going to say, we're going to come in here and we're going to increment this value. We're going to increment it by 1. And for toggled off, we're going to decrement it by 1. So in case, what I can do in this case, I can just copy it and paste it right here. Paste an action right here, and then I can just decrement it. So I can just do -1. So let's see if it works. And in fact, we also, we want to rebuild the current component. Make sure you have that, because if you don't do that, you know, you're not going to see this new value change. Okay, so let's go ahead and restart our app here, and let's see if those changes are taking effect. All right, so here's our app. Let's go ahead, this start workout page, click here, add exercises. And now if we click, you see that it's keeping state. So this specific state is only for the purpose of this component. It's not going to go anywhere else. We really don't need to do anything with it. And in fact, let's go ahead and change it. So right here, as you can see, it's add, and in parentheses, it has the number of exercises. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick just to make it nice. Come in here, and what we can do is we can do text combine text. We can do add, and then the actual component state here. All right, there's the app. Let's go ahead, this page, start workout, add exercise, and says add. Okay, there you go. Now, another thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of padding to this container. Okay, so in fact, to this, container. Now let's go ahead and give it a little bit of padding. We can do it on the column levels. And ideally, what's going to happen is this is going to be a button. And so once you select them, you click on this button and it's going to add the exercises here and they're going to be displayed there. All right, so now if you click Start Workout, you can add exercises. So click on Add Exercise, you can do that and it's maintaining state here. Now, the next thing that we need to do is that if you select these, and you click add, it's going to add them to this screen here because this is your current exercise screen here. And then when you finish the exercise, it's going to save it to the database. But the issue here is that if this exercise is continuing, right? So you're doing this exercise, you added some, press cancel, right? It's going to close this and it's not going to save the exercise to Firestore. So we need a way to store this data temporarily. Okay. We don't know yet if, this exercise is going to be successful because the way this app works is that you can start this workout. You have this workout, but if you click cancel, it does not save this information. This information just disappears. It goes away. And so we have to keep this in mind as we are developing this app. This is kind of how the app is structured. And so when we click here and we start adding exercises to this current workout, we do not want to save them into the database. We don't want to save them to the database just yet. We want them to be in a temporary state. Okay. And how would you do that? Well, the way you can do it is by having app state. So remember, you have this app state here in FlutterFlow, and that is a way to store data that's temporary, right? It's not persistent in a sense that it's not stored into the database just yet, but it's available while the app is running. Okay. And so if we go to our Firestore, remember, we have users and workouts. Now, this workouts here, this is where we eventually want to save these workouts after the user finishes the workout, they click save or, something like this. In other words, they do not cancel the workout. They don't exit out. And so eventually the data from the app state that's available while the app is running, it needs to be saved as a workout here. And so what we want to do here is we want to model this app state on this workout here because this is a collection of workouts, but each one is a specific exercise, right? Each one is a specific one. So this is a collection of workouts, but inside the workouts, we have various exercises that, the person is going to be doing it. So you are inside this workouts, you're going to have multiple of these documents. So you might have, exercise 1 that, the user has done 3 sets, right? Then another exercise, the user has done 2 sets or something like this. So that is what we want to model our app state on. Okay. So let's go ahead and create an app state that's going to be modeled upon this. And that way, if they're happy with their workout, they can simply save it and we can automatically save it as a workout, a document inside this workouts collection here. And so before I create this app state, I need to create a couple of data types to model this correctly, right? To model this workout. So let's go ahead and create the data type that's going to contain all the information about the workout that the user is doing right now in the app state. Okay, so we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and create a new data type. I'm going to call it workout, create, and I'm going to add a field. Field is going to be name. Name is string. So we have the name. The next thing that we want to store is we want to store a list of exercises. And then for each exercise, we're going to have the sets. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new data type called exercise. Okay, and the exercise, it's going to consist of the exercise ID, the exercise reference ID, as well as the list of sets. Okay, so let's go ahead and create these exercise, and this is going to be a document reference exercises. Okay, and then it's going to be a list of sets for that specific exercise. So we already have sets here, right? So we created sets before, so we can simply come in here and we can say sets. And this is going to be this data type set. And this time it's going to be a list, right? So for each exercise, you're going to have a list of sets that the user is doing for that exercise. And so now we have a data type called exercise that contains 2 fields, the exercise reference as well as an array of sets. Okay, whereas a set is just, it just has two fields, the weight and reps. And then we have this main kind of data type called workout that has the name, but it's also going to have an array of exercises. Okay, so we're going to add a new field, and I'm going to say exercises, and we're going to say data type, and it's going to be an exercise, and it's going to be a list of exercises. So workout is going to have a name, and it's also going to have a list of exercises. And so now, if you take a look at this data structure here, we have this main workout, and we are going to model app state on this workout data type. In fact, app state is going to be an instance of this workout, as you're going to see in just a second. But if you come to this exercise here, we have exercise reference and we have sets, which is pretty much the same as we have in workouts, right? We have exercise reference and we have sets. And that way, if they're happy with the workout, we can simply create a new document with the temporary data that we are holding while that workout is active. We're going to go into app state. We're going to add a state variable called workout. Okay. And this is going to have a data type of workout. Okay. And it's just going to be one workout because they can only have one workout, at a time, right? So it's not going to be a list or anything. We're going to click create, okay? And so now we have an app state called workout, okay? And so now if we go back to the app and we come in here, and if they click on add exercises, it's going to load up this one. And so what we want to do is if they select on something, we want to automatically add this exercise to be part of their current workout. And if they deselect it, we're going to remove it automatically. And so that way, when they click on the button or they exit out, they're going to automatically see the stuff populated on the previous dialog box, on the previous drawer, as you're going to see in just a second. So we're going to open up this action right here. And so we're going to go to toggled on, and we're going to add an action. What we want to do is we want to do some state management. We want to update our app state. Add field, we're going to select our workout. And here what we can do is we can update fields. Okay, so when they're adding, we can add those specific exercises to the state. So we're going to say add field, and we're going to go into exercises. And now we can add to the list the exercises that they selected, that they clicked on the checkbox. Click here, we can create a new data type called exercise, and then fill that data type with the information that we need. So this exercise ref, we can just pull it out from the list that the user has. Okay, and so now we've modified the app state and we added to the list a new exercise data type there. Okay, we can click on done, and we can later do the same thing. We'll toggle it off, but let's first double check if it works fine. So what happens now is that when they click here, we're automatically adding these exercises as part of that main temporary workout. Okay. Next, let's see if it actually works. So we can go back to the start workout, this previous window. And what we want to do is we want to display the exercises that the user has clicked on. We want to make sure that they're here, okay? Because they clicked on add exercises, they see the list, they checked, and now we should have a list of exercises. Okay, so this is going to be a timer, and we're going to do that later. Some notes, and then below it, we can have a list of exercises. Okay, so let's go back to the column. Let's do a list view. In fact, let's bring it maybe right here or somewhere. Let me bring it down. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some kind of a field inside and give it some 10, something like this. And this is going to display the list of exercises that are in that app state. Okay, so let's go ahead and load this up from this list view. Come in here, we're going to do a generate dynamic children. Click here, go to app state, click on workout, and here you want to click on data structure field, and you want to get the exercises. So now click confirm, and now we have that exercise information. So exercise, and now it generated a list of exercises. The issue here is that these exercises, it's actually, remember this exercises thing, come in here, we are going to be getting the ref and the sets. So we still need to get the actual exercise from the ref. So we can do that clicking in this text field here. And before we can display some data, we need to actually do a document from reference. Click here, exercise item. And here we want to select exercise ref, not sets, exercise ref, confirm, confirm. And now we can actually display the exercise, right? So we have this document now. And so now what we did is we're saving stuff to the app state. And here we're kind of pulling it back and displaying it here. All right, so let's go ahead and reload the app, start a new session, and let's see if that works. All right, so here's the app. Let's go ahead to this start workout page, click here. And this is our pop-up box here, this dialog box. We can click on add exercises. And now if we click here, it's gonna automatically add it, right? So even if I don't click here, I can click here, it doesn't matter. I can exit out and I see this new exercise. So now if I click here, add squats, and this should be selected by default. We're gonna fix that later. Come back, we see squats. And that is because we have this global application app state is that we are adding from one component and we are displaying in another component, but it's also available everywhere. And so now the user sees the kind of exercises they're doing. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to add the sets, the set information. So if we come back here, we can see that there's a page, there's the name of the exercise, and then there's the set information. And so this way they can add sets as they are, progressing through the exercise, the specific exercise, and they can, add sets to this exercise, add sets to that exercise, and that way they can keep track of, how many sets they have done, how many reps, with what weight, etc., etc. And that's what we're going to be doing next.
So I hope you guys are enjoying this comprehensive tutorial. Now remember, if you want to master FlutterFlow and you want to go out and you want to build amazing, high quality apps, then you definitely should check out our Mastering FlutterFlow comprehensive training. This is the most advanced FlutterFlow training on the market. It has everything that you need to know in order to master FlutterFlow. And additionally, if you have any questions or issues, you can go to our private Discord community and get help for those problems or issues you may be having. So check out the link in the description and consider becoming a member.
Now, there's one issue that I want to fix before moving on to the next step. So if you add an exercise here and you click on bench press and you exit out, you see bench press here. But if you go back, you don't see this checked. It's a minor issue, but we definitely need to fix it. So let's go ahead and fix this right now. And then we're going to start working on the screen. We got to do a lot of things on the screen. Okay. So the way that you can fix it is that if you click on this checkbox here and you take a look at this area right here, it says here checkbox initial value. And here you can specify a condition or, some kind of a value that determines whether this is checked or not checked. And so how do we do it? Well, the way that we can do it is we can check if this item is in our app state. Remember, we have this app state here, this mega app state that contains lots and lots of things. It contains the workout, the sets, the exercises, everything that we need. And so we can potentially check, is this item in our app state, meaning that the user has added that exercise already. Okay. So we're going to come in here and we can't do it directly. Okay, we can't do it directly because we need to get inside this app state. So it's kind of tricky to do it. But what we can do is we can create a code expression. And so this code expression is going to get two arguments. Okay, the first argument is going to get this document ID of this item, right? And then it's going to get the list of items that are already in the app state. And then all we need to do is check if this document ID is part of that app state. Okay, so let's do that right now. So we're going to add two arguments. The first argument is going to be the document ID of this thing. Okay, the reference of this thing. It's going to be a string. We can just come in here, exercises, and then we can just select reference. And so now we have the document of the ID of this thing. Okay, and remember, we're also storing these document IDs in the app state as well. Okay, so we can add another argument. Let's go ahead and rename it. We're going to call this current item or current exercise. Current. Let's just do current item. Nice and generic. Okay. And so the second one, now what we need is a list of exercises that the user has already added, meaning that they are in the app state already. So this is going to be a list of strings, and we're going to comment here. Now we need to find our app state. So we're going to click on app state workout. We're going to come here, data structure. We're going to select exercises, and then we have available options. And so what we need to do here is we need to map these items in order to just get this document ID. So we're going to do map list items, click here, and here we're going to get this data structure field, and we need to select the reference. Okay, so we're going to select the reference. We get this document ID automatically, confirm. And so right here, what we're getting is we're getting a list of document IDs for the exercises that are already in the app state. Okay, so we have two arguments coming in, right? So this could be like for existing items, and this is current item. So now what we need to do is we need to check, is the current item already in those existing items? Okay, so the return type is going to be Boolean, true or false, and now we need to write the value. So it's actually very, very simple. So what we need to do is we need to type existing items contains. That's all we need to do. Now we need to click check for errors. Okay, no errors. So this is going to return true if that item that we have in the list, it's already part of the app state. If it's not, it's gonna come back with false. Click confirm. So now let's go ahead and reload our app, and hopefully when we add these items, it's gonna work. Okay, we're gonna come back here, reload our app. All right, so here's the app. Let's go ahead to start workout page, start workout, and let's say we add an exercise. And let's say we add bench press. So now when we exit out, we see bench press right here. And if we click on add exercises, this is already checked because this exercise is part of the app state. We can also add legs, exit out, and now you have bench press and squats. And if you come back, they are already checked. Okay, so now that we've done that, the next thing that we want to do is we want to build out this page right here, because there's going to be lots of things happening on this page. For instance, when they start the workout, right, they start the specific exercise, we need to automatically add a list of sets and have input for the number of reps, the weight, and we also need an ability to add sets in line. So they're going to have this table, and let's say they have like 2 sets. Well, they want to add a 3rd set, a 4th set, etc., etc. So if you go back to these screenshots here, this is kind of what we're looking at, right? This is kind of what we want to implement. We have this. Well, actually, we have this right here. We don't have the name yet, but that's also something that we need to do. We have this and we have this, and what we need to do is we need to create these tables, this table of sets below each exercise here, and then we also need functionality to add a set. Okay, and so that's what we're going to be working on right now. And so right now we're going to be working on this page and adding functionality for the user to add sets, maybe delete sets, things like that, modify set information, etc., etc. So what we have here is we have a basic list view that lists the exercises in the state, but we also need to list the sets for the specific exercise. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to create another list view, a child list view, that's going to list the individual sets for that specific exercise. Okay, so we have this list view here, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this list view in a column, because inside a column we can have multiple children. We're going to wrap this widget in a column, and now we can add all kinds of things to it, right? So for instance, we're going to have this text, which is fine, but we also want to add another list view. I'm going to add another list view, and so now we have the name of the exercise in the center. Maybe we can left justify it if you want later, but this thing here is going to list the different set information. And remember, when it comes to sets, it's not just one thing, it's actually a bunch of things. So we have the number of the set, we have the weight, we have the reps, we have some other information, some checkbox here, etc., etc. So there's lots of things happening here, and really this page is kind of the bulk, right? If you think about it, this is the most important page component, if you will, of the entire app. Okay, so we're going to be spending a lot of time on this page here. All right, so let's go back and let's go ahead and list the different sets and list some of the information having to do with the sets. Okay, so I have this list view here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a row, and so on this row we want to list a bunch of information having to do with each set. So for instance, probably a good idea to show the set number. Okay, is this the first set? Is this the last set? Next, we want to have input fields for the reps and the weight. So we're going to create 2 input fields here, input field 1 input field 2. These are going to be 2 input fields for and the reps. Okay, so you're doing maybe 10 reps of 145 pounds, etc., etc. And after that, we can have maybe a button to delete this set or something like that. Okay, so we're going to have an icon button here. And let's say they didn't like that set, or they added it by mistake or something. We are going to delete it. We'll allow them to delete this set. So we're going to come back here and let's say delete something like this. This is cool, and I don't like this round. It's too rounded, right? So something like this is cool. And I don't know, change the colors. We'll do that later, no problem. Now this thing right here is going to display the number of the set that they're working on. Okay, so this is going to be the set number, and these things here, this is going to be the reps, and this is going to be the weight. Okay, so we have this information here. Now let's load the data, right? Let's load the sets. We're going to come to this list view, and we're going to come here, generate dynamic children, come back here, go to exercise item, right? Data structure field. We have sets, confirm. Okay, so now we are loading the sets information from the app state. And I'm just going to say current set. And now, as you can see, we are seeing this child list view repeat itself, right? So now it's being repeated. And now we know that we're actually feeding it with data. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to load up these fields with the right data. So let's say this is going to be the weight and this is going to be the reps. Okay, so I'm going to select this field. We're going to click on this initial value here. Click here, go to current set item, data structure field, and we're going to select weight, right? So X weight for X reps. Okay, select this right here. And the same thing we are going to do for the second field, right? Come in here, initial value, current set item, data structure field, and this is going to be reps now. Okay, confirm. Now, FlutterFlow is showing me that I have some project issues. Now, if I click here, it's telling me that there's a widget configuration issue. Text field widget with the current config will not function properly when generated dynamically at the moment because it is associated with a local state variable. Consider wrapping it inside of a component and then generate the component dynamically. Okay, so you're going to see this in situations like this when you have a list view and you need to show elements that are generated dynamically, because these elements are taking some data from app state. So FlutterFlow is telling us that we need to create a component, we need to turn this into a component. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this text field, find it over here, right click, and I'm going to do convert to a component. So if I click here, I'm going to give it a name. This is going to be input weight, create component. Okay. And so once I do that, that one error goes away. I still have another error here, and that's fine. I can just do the same thing, go back to this page, choose this here, right click, and what I can do is convert to component. And now I'm going to call it input reps, create component. Okay. And now I shouldn't have any errors, as you can see here. And so what happened just now is that if we go back to the page and we select it here, as you can see, it made it into a component and it passed the value from the list view, right? Initially it had that text initial value. It passed it to a component. So that's perfectly fine. So now everything works. And so it did the correct thing. And now if we run it, it's going to work. But there's going to be a small problem here, as you're going to see in just a second. So if we go back to test mode and we create a new session here, you're going to see, well, a couple of issues that we need to work on. So let's go ahead and wait for this to load. All right. So here's the app. We go back to this page right here, start a workout. Let's say we add some exercises here. And we add both of these. So now we see the exercises, but we do not see any sets. Now, why is that? Why don't we see any sets? Well, the reason we don't see any sets below each of the exercises is because when we are creating these exercises, right, when we created them here, we did not create the sets. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So if I come back to this exercise page here, and remember what happens is if we click here, this on toggled on, we are updating app state. Okay. And in this app state, we are only creating the exercises in the app state. We're not creating the set. So if we come over here, we're creating this exercise and we only are adding this exercise rep. So if we add another field, we can add sets. And so if we click here, we can't really do it from, this menu here. You see, it needs a list, which is, it needs a list of sets. of data type sets, but we can't do it here. And so what we need to do is we need to create a custom function that's going to create, one or more initial sets for each of the exercises. Come back to this custom function, create a new function here. What we're going to call this is we're going to call it create sets. And this function is going to return a list of sets that in turn we're going to take and we're going to create these exercises with these initial sets. Okay, so the return value is going to be a data type and set. It's going to be a list, not nullable because we are controlling it. And that's it. And so this function is simply going to return, 1 or 3 sets. So for instance, here's how you do it. Okay, so let's say you want to create one initial set. All you need to type is this right here. Then you can just call it set1, and then you can do set struct, and then you can say, well, reps. You can specify number of reps. Let's say 10 reps. And weight, you can specify some sample weight, let's say 145. And that's all you need to do. And then you just need to return this as a list. So not just set1, you need to put it inside square bracket. And so what we've just done is we created one initial set and we are returning it as an array. Okay, and this is something that we couldn't do without this custom function. We couldn't do it inside of FlutterFlow. And so now we have an initial set. So if I save this function and it's right here, right? Remember, we just created it in line, confirm. Now we are no longer just adding that exercise the user wanted to add. We're also creating an initial set. We're going to say confirm, done, come back here, check this out. Okay, we need to pre-compile this custom function. Check it. Let's wait a couple of moments here. Okay, no errors. Looks good. Let's go ahead and reload our test environment here. All right, so here's the app. Come back here, start workout, add exercises. Let's say we add bench press. We get out and guess what? We see that set row with the data filled in automatically. Okay, so as you can see now, it sees it because we created an initial set. So let's add squats as well. And now for squats, we have the same thing. We need to kind of format it, which is something I'm going to be doing right now. But we also need a button to add new sets in line. Okay, so we need a button below each exercise, right at the end, below the last set here, so that they can add a new exercise, a new set in line, right? Because they're working out and they have an initial set here. They can change it or change it to whatever they want, but they need a way to add a new sets in line. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now, and let's fix up our page here. Let's start workout. So we have this. So we have this list view, and it's inside this column. So let's give it some bottom padding. So something like this. Okay, so it's not running into each other, right? Because right here, there's no spacing between squats and that last set. And now what we want to do is we want to add a button below it, right? So it's going to be part of this column here. Add a button. And this button is going to say new set. Okay, so something like this. Now, what is going to be the behavior of this button? How is this going to add new set? Well, the behavior that we are seeking is we want to click this button and we want a new row added automatically. And so how would you do it? Well, it's actually very, very easy. What's going to happen here is this button is going to add a new set into app state. And because this is automatically loading the sets from app state, it's going to automatically show that new row automatically after it has been created. Okay, so we're going to come here, click here. We're going to open our action editor. And what we want to do is we want to modify our app state by adding a new set in there. Okay, so we're going to come state management, update, add state, select our workout. And what we want to do is we want to update fields, right? We don't want to set a brand new value. We just want to update fields. So we're going to select our exercises here. We are going to change this to be update item at index because we are updating a specific exercise in order to add the set to it. So the item index, we're going to come here, exercise item, index and list. Okay, so now we pick the exercise. We're going to update the fields. Okay, which fields? Sets. Click on sets. And here you want to pick add to list, right? Because we want to add a new set to our existing set. So we're going to come back here. We want to create a new data type called set. And now we can specify the fields. Okay, so I can add a weight field and I can add reps. So let's say, I don't know, weight, I don't know, 200 and reps is going to be 10. Okay, confirm, exit, and let's see if that works. Let's go ahead and reload this. And now this button should automatically add a new set in that specific exercise, and it should display automatically. This is the beauty of reactive frameworks, right? It's going to display automatically. It's going to rebuild that widget once it realized that it changed, something changed. So we're going to add new exercises, bench press, and we see this new set. So if I click on new set, you see it added it, right? 210, and we added more. Okay, so this is not working right now. This is very easy to do. We're going to do that in just a bit. Another thing that's not working is this is not, we can't update it. We can't update it yet. So there's a couple of ways to make it work. One way to do it is we can have a button that's like a check mark or something that will automatically save the changes, okay? But in fact, we don't really need to do that because remember, this is a dynamic component. And so hypothetically, because it's set up that way, it should realize when data changes and it should automatically save this data, okay? Let me show you how that works. So if we come back here and, we select this component here, there's a setting here, update component on changes, right? If you hover over, you will see that whether or not to also refresh this component when a state value inside this component changes. So state value is anything that it shows, anything that it's doing. So if it had a checkbox, it could be checkbox. If it had a button, it could be a button. Anytime you change something inside of it, it can see that, it can realize that some of the state has changed inside of that component, and it will automatically rebuild itself. Okay, so we're going to select this here. We're also going to select this here. And now let's go ahead and reload the app and see what happens. Okay, let's go ahead and reload the app. Okay, there's the app. Come back here. Start workout, add exercises, bench press. Let's add a new set. Now, let's say I modify it. Okay, so let's say I put weight 100 and we need to change the labels. We're going to do that in a second. Now, if I change the value here, as I change it to 100 and I click on this button, it should, have that value. It should make that value stay the same, right? That value should stay the same. If it doesn't stay the same, that means it's not saving state. So if I do new set, you see it didn't do it, right? So let's say I modified it. And yeah, I modified it. I see it, but it should still work anytime I do something else. If I do, you see it comes back because it's not saving it. And the reason it's not saving it is because we haven't done an important step here. So if you come back here, back to these dynamic components, there's something called the unique key. And if you hover over, you will see that if you would like to be able to access the state of these dynamically generated components, you must provide a unique key for each one. This will be used to access the state of the correct child component. And so we need to give it a unique key here, because when it has a unique key, the system can realize that we changed the state of this, and it can automatically look up the right state and display the correct value. And so this key here needs to be unique on a component level. Okay, so what this means is that it should be something having to do with this specific weight or reps, right? It should be something having to do with this, specific value here. And so one way that we can do it is we can give it the name of the set. So this could be weight, 1, this could be weight 2, weight 3, weight 4. And then we also need a way to identify reps as well. So here reps could be reps 1, reps 2, reps 3, reps 4. And if we do that, and it's unique in terms of components, and that means that there's no other, input way that has the same unique key, it's going to maintain state. So let me show you what I mean here. Now, remember, at this level here, we also want to display the number set, the number of the set. So this could be 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. And so let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and let's go ahead and add a field that's going to track the number of each of the sets. Okay, so we're going to come to our data types here. We're going to go to sets, and I'm going to add a new field, and this is going to be called number, and this is going to be called the string. And so that way, when we are displaying it, we can actually display the number, but we can also each of those dynamically generated components by their specific number as well. So let me show you what I mean. So I can come back here, and now I can display a number here, which is nice. I can go to current set, data structure field, number. Okay, so this is fixed. Now we're displaying the number. And in fact, what you want to do here, right, this text thing here, what you want to do is you want to click here so that it doesn't take up as much space as it wants to, right? That way we can limit it, and it takes the minimal amount of space, right? Because this is just going to be a number. That's kind of what we want. We want this to be kind of uniform, right? We don't want one field to like monopolize all the space. Okay, now what we need to do, right, we need to go to this custom function, and when we create this initial set, we also need to specify the number 1. Okay, so now it's number 1. We're gonna click save. And in fact, did I set number as a string or as, yeah, number should be an integer. Okay, that's why we're getting that issue, right? So number, there you go. So now we can go back here, and this is correct. Go fix our function. Yeah, now the function is fine. Okay, so now the initial set that we create when we add the exercise is going to be 1, right? So it's 1 here. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that function right there. Okay, no errors. Everything is fine. And so now what we can do is we can go to input weight, and we can give it a unique key based on the set, on the number of the set of where it's at. So I can come in here, and I can just say current set, data structure field, and I can say number. And that is because each of these values, they're going to be different, right? In each of the sets, they're going to be different. Now, we also need to make sure we're setting the right number when we are adding new sets. So if we come here, and we go through this flow here, right? Update exercise, creating this new set. We want to make sure is that it also adds that number, but it does it correctly. So we're going to add this new field here. And what we need to do is we need to take the number of existing items that are there, and we need to add 1, okay? Because if we have 1 item in there, the number of this item that we are adding is going to be 2. Okay, so we need a code expression to do that for us. Code expression, and this code expression is going to get the list of existing items and add 1 to them, right? So we're going to add an argument here. This is going to be an integer. Click here. We're going to say exercise item, right? Data structure field, sets. And now we can select number of items, right? This is the number of those sets that the user has added right now, right? Click confirm. And now what we want to do is we want to add 1 to it, right? We're going to say num items, check for errors, no errors, confirm, done. Now let's go ahead and reload the app to our favorite page, start workout, add exercises, bench press. Okay, so we see there's an initial set. We're going to add a new set, and you see the number is automatically being updated. So these values are unique in this list view, right? That unique value, it identifies these values. So that means that if we change things around, it's going to be able to correctly display it, okay? So I put 100, and if I add new set, you see that 100 remains. It did not change to anything else. It did not change to the default, and that is because it's able to track state. I changed this to 500. It's all staying. This is all staying. So we don't need another button. We don't need anything to change how these work. Now, it doesn't apply to this yet because we haven't added the new state. So if I add 15 and I do that, it does not do it. So we're going to fix that right now. But as you can see, at least this one is working perfectly. And what's nice about it is we don't need a button or anything like that. Automatically updates it when it changes. Now, we also need to do the same thing for this dynamic component, right? We need to have a unique key as well, but we can't set the unique key to be the same here. Otherwise, these two values are going to be equal and it's not going to work. And so what we can do is we can identify the column. So this is the first column, this is the second column. And so we can prepend the column number to this. Okay, so we can click here and we can come back here. We can do a text combine text. And this is going to be the first column. Click here. And here is going to be the current set, data structure, number. And so now we have the column name here, and then we can click this, copy variable, click confirm, and now we have a text combination. We can do the same thing here, paste text combination, except this is the second column. Now these values should keep track of state as well. So let's go ahead and reload our app. Okay, come back here. Start workout, add exercises, bench press. We're adding new, let's say I changed it to 205. You see, it stays at 205. I make this 15. and it stays at 50. And that is because each of these cells is absolutely unique. And so the system knows where it's at, and it can dynamically generate it and dynamically destroy it and regenerate it once it is changed. So I can put to 50, and put 20, add a new set, and you see how it stays. So that looks really, really good. It works perfectly. The only thing that I want to do is I want to add delete functionality. And, you know, for delete functionality, maybe we can just do it for the last one. Okay, so there's no reason to delete like the first set. You've done it already, but maybe the last set we can delete. And obviously you can do it however you want. That's kind of how I think we should do it. So let me go ahead and add delete functionality just for the last set that, you know, maybe the user did it by accident. They pressed this and they're like, oh, you know, I'm going home. Okay, I'm not going to do this last set. So let's go ahead and add a delete button just for the last set, right? And the way that we can do it so that this button is only displayed the last one at the last row here is by setting conditional visibility. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that the index of that row is equal to the number of items minus 1. Okay, and I'll explain to you why that is. So create a single condition, and the first condition is going to be the current set item, and we are going to say index and list. And so the index is where exactly is that item in the list. Okay, and so what we want it to be is we want it to be equal to the number of items minus 1. Okay, so we're going to say from variable, and here we can create a code expression, and this argument we're just going to say var1. This is going to be an integer, and what we're going to do is we're going to get number of items, right? Exercise data structure field, come back here, sets, and then number of items, and we want to subtract 1 from it. Okay, do that. Actually, let's check that. Confirm. Let's go ahead and reload this or start a new session. All right, so here's the app. Come back here, start workout, add exercise, select this. And as you can see, this button is only being displayed on the last one. Now, let's go ahead and get it to delete because it doesn't do anything right now. Let's go ahead and fix that. Come back here, add an action. Let's open this up. State management, update app state, add field workout. We are going to be doing update fields, add field exercises. And here what we want to do is we want to update item at index. We're going to specify the index of the exercises here. So exercise item, index and list. And what we want to do is we want to update fields and we want to update the sets. So we're going to do a remove from list at index to remove. We're going to do current set item, index and list. All right, let's go ahead and reload that. So come back here, start workout, add exercises, bench press. Okay, new set, 5 sets. Oh, I'm not going to do that last set. Click here and it's gone. I can delete the last 2. Okay, so I like this functionality, right? And obviously this works. You see, it tracks it, right? I can delete it and it's all there. Okay, now I can add another exercise, squats, and now we have squats. So I can add a new set. We have some overflowing issues that we're going to fix it by making it scrollable. But now it's all the same thing, except we have a problem. So I added this 205, but you see, if I modify it, you see it's modifying this one as well. And that is because this unique key identifies it. It's only unique in a specific table, but it's not unique across tables. So we also have to take into account the exercise that we're working with, right? Because if I modify this, it modifies this as well, because it's only unique in the table and it's not unique. You know, if you have 10 tables, it's going to reference that exact cell, that same cell in all the tables. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, so we need to change how we calculate the unique key to take into account the exercise, the specific exercise ID that we are working with. Okay, because we're not going to have 2 squats. We're going to have 1 squat, 1 something else. So we need to take into account the exercise ID as well. So let's go ahead and fix that right now. Come back here. We have this text combination. Let's add a new text. And this time we're going to add an exercise, right? So we're going to take this exercise data structure field, exercise ref, document ID. Okay, perfect. Confirm. Do the same thing here. Text combination, add another text combination, exercise item, data structure field, exercise ref, document ID, confirm. Okay, and so now it should hopefully work. All right, there's the app. Come back here. start workout, add exercises, let's say add bench press, new set, add another exercise, squats, new set, 20. You see, it's not modifying the cell because this is another table. And the same thing on this side as well, right? So if I modify this, it does not modify that because this is another exercise ID. Take this and I add it, and you see it saves it. So I can add that. We have this overflow issue, but that is easy to fix. We're going to fix that in just a second. But this main issue is now fixed because now it's completely unique and it doesn't reference any other dynamic component besides the one that we're working with. So let's go ahead and fix this overflowing issue. And the way that you can fix it is you can select a column. In fact, we can select this main column and we can make it scrollable. Okay, so that way it's scrollable and it should not overflow. Let's see if that works. Page, start workout, add exercises, bench press, squats, new set, new set. All right, let's go ahead and reload the app. All right, come back here, start workout, add exercises. Let's add both of them, new set, and look at that. It's scrollable now. I have a scroll bar here. So it's exactly what we want. And it keeps state, right? So you don't have to save or anything. You can change this and you can even delete this last one. And I like this behavior anywhere that you want. And it's gonna keep state of everything because we've configured it correctly. And so as you can see, this page works really, really nicely. There's still a couple of things that we need to do. We need to have a timer. So when they start a workout, we start a timer. And if they decide to save this workout, we need to take all of this data that's currently in app state and we need to send it to our database, right? We need to send it to Firestore DB. And that's that. But if they cancel out, we just need to close this whole screen here and not save anything because this is app state. We don't really need it. We can cancel the timer as well if you okay. So let me quickly fix this cancel workout issue. Have this thing close up, and then we're going to be working on saving this data into Firestore DB. So let's go ahead, cancel this, add an action, and what we want to do is we want to bottom sheet, we want to dismiss. Okay, so we want to dismiss this sheet. Go ahead, and that works. This is a very, very simple fix. Come back here, start workout, add exercises, cancel workout, and close. Start another workout. You can close that out. All right. So next, let's work on saving all of this to Firestore DB, as well as adding a timer. So when they start a workout, we're going to start a timer. And then when they decide to finish the workout, we're going to save everything to Firestore DB. That way it's saved. They can go look at their history, look at their stats, etc., etc. But if they cancel out, no problem. This is all just app state anyway. All right, so now let's go ahead and add a timer and make a couple of other changes as well. So if we click here, we have this timer placeholder. And what we want is we want to trigger that timer so that as soon as they start a workout, this timer goes on. This is going to be part of this kind of workout, this current workout state here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So we're going to come here. We have this text here. We're going to add a timer. Click this timer here, and we're going to remove this text. So now we have this timer. We want this timer to be a count up. We're going to select count up. The format is fine. Everything else is fine. And so we want this timer to start automatically when they load up this page. So essentially, when they click on add workout, we want this timer to start automatically. So what we can do is we can go to this top level here. We can open this up, add an action, search for timer, click on timer, and when this component loads, meaning that when they click on the button, we load the component, this timer should automatically start. Let's go ahead and test this out. Reload the app. Let's go ahead and start workout. And there's the timer. Okay, so they can keep adding exercises. Whatever they're doing, the workout has started already. Okay, another thing that I want to do is I want to modify this so that they can update it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now. It's a random workout, but we're going to have an input, text field, delete this, and this label. What we can do is we can select label here, and initial value could be, I don't know, random workout. And when they modify it, it's going to be automatically saved into their app state, and it's going to display it. Yeah, so we can do enter workout. Okay, and we can remove this, and we have this hint text. We can also remove the label here, and now we have this input field here. And so what we want to do is when they update it, we want it to be saved as part of the app state. So we're going to open this up. On change, we can do that, add an action. And we want to do state management, update app state, workout. We're going to be updating fields, and the field is just name. Okay, and name is going to be from this widget state. I'm going to come here, done. And I like to change my fields, input. All right, let's go ahead and see if that works. Good. Let's go ahead and reload the app. Start workout. We can enter workout name, new workout, add exercises. Okay, new exercise. As you can see, it's keeping state. Once you change and you exit out, it automatically keeps state. So I can do something like this. And anytime I do this new set or add exercises, you see this remains. This is still there. So this is absolutely fine. And we have this thing going. So looks good to me. All right, so the app is starting to come together now. All right, so now we need to implement the functionality where if they're happy with the workout, they need to save the workout, okay? So this is going to happen on this page right here, on this main page. And if we scroll down, we have add exercises and cancel workout. So what we want to do is we want to add another button here. Okay, so next to cancel workout, I want to add another button. So I'm going to duplicate this, and this is not going to be cancel workout. This is going to be save workout, and do save. In fact, we can just call it save cancel. So let's think about how we can save it. Okay, so if I go in here, I open this up. Well, we need to remove the bottom sheet dismiss because we duplicated it. And so we're going to add an action. We're going to go to backend database, Firestore. We want to create a new document. The document we want to create is workouts. Now, it wants a user reference, which is our authenticated user right here. And now we need to actually set the field. So I'm going to add the field. Name is fine. Sets. Exercise ref. So we have a lot of fields because that is the schema that we have, but it may not be compatible with the data that we have. So name, we have name, which is fine, but now we need sets. So let's say, you want a set value, right? You don't want to add sets, take from app state and just shove it to the database. So if I come here and I go to app state, I go to workout and I do data structure field, I can select exercises, but I can't get to sets, right? It's too deep inside. I need to select the right exercise. There's a lot of things happening, and that is because when we designed our app state, we designed it to work with the app. And what happened was it deviated, it diverged from what we had originally in our schema for the app. Okay, so we have this nice app state, which is called workout. It's based on these data types. It works really well. It does exactly what we want. We were able to build the app. The problem is we can't, it's painful to save, and we can build a bunch of, write a bunch of custom code, custom functions and all this, but it's a mess. So the best way of doing it, the best way of solving this problem is you need to adapt your database schema to your app state, because app state is the life of the app, is the heart of the app. This is how the app is living and breathing, right? This is the air. You won't be able to have a functioning app without app state. And so what we need to do is we need to come back to Firestore and we need to adapt our Firestore schema to our app state schema. Okay? So this app state is just a workout, which is a workout type. And so if we go to workout type, we have name and exercises, which is a list of data exercises. So let's go back to Firestore and let's go into workouts. I still like this user workouts, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave name, I'm going to leave timestamp, but I'm going to change sets and exercise ref so that it matches it closer to what we have in app state. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my workout and I see that I have name and exercises, and that is exactly what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so I'm going to add exercises here, which is a data type of exercise, and it's a list. So now what we have is users workout. We're storing the name of the workout, the timestamp. Okay, so when the person finished it. We can also store the duration if you want. Maybe we'll do that later. That's probably a good idea. And now we have exercises, and these exercises, once you open all of that up, it's like a tree, right? It's like, you have exercises, then for each exercise you have a set, etc., etc. But at least now, if you come back here, right, you go into save, you open this up, and you remove all of this, right? And you start from the beginning, right? We are updating the user reference because it's a sub collection. We're going to go add field name. So name, let's say whatever, doesn't really matter. We can, and now timestamp. Okay, so timestamp is going to be current time. We're going to click here, current time. And we have one last field, which is just exercises. And the beautiful thing about this is that we can just do set value, come back here, go to app state, workout, data structure field, exercises, confirm. And then we can just copy the whole app state, save it into our Firestore, and that's it. Everybody's happy. We still have a couple of issues, and that is because in our history, we are using this old app state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it. We'll fix history a little bit later. And now we need to fix our custom functions. That's fine. We'll recheck it. And there should be no issues, no errors now. Okay. And so let's go ahead and run this app and let's see if it's actually saving it correctly. Okay, that's going to be the ultimate test. Let's go ahead and reload this. All right, there's the app. Come back here. Start workout. Okay, we have the timer going. I can just give it a name. All right, let's add a bunch of exercises. Let's add both. Okay, so we have bench press and squats. I'm going to add new set and let's say, oh, this needs to be fixed labels. We'll fix that later. Say I'm going big, 300 pounds. Okay, so looks good. Let's go ahead and click save. No issues. Let's go back. We should probably show some kind of a snack bar. Let's go to our Firestore. And this is the real test. Was it able to save it correctly? Let's go and reload this. Users, this is user. And we have a workout, a sub collection. Click on workouts. We have one workout. And this is all the data, right? All the app state was dumped into our Firestore. So we have exercises. And we go into each exercises. We have sets, right? And then we have, information about the sets. We have 2 sets. We have this exercise. We have 3 sets. Okay, so we have all of this information stored in the database, okay, which is perfect. So the only thing we're not storing is name. I'm going to fix that right now. I also want to add a snack bar, but the main part is saved. And I feel that a lot of people are going to be having issues with this because they can't reconcile a different data store strategies, if you will, because you got app state, you got Firestore, but this is the easiest way of going about it. All right, let's go ahead and fix saving the name and let's get that snack bar. Okay, so let's go back here and we were on the start workout. No, we were on start workout comp and we're gonna click here, open this up. Name is going to come from our app state, of course, workout, data structure field, name here is here. We can also save the duration as well because we have the timer there, so we can add that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a snack bar here. Alerts not workout saved. Okay, so there you have it. It's gonna display for 4 seconds, 4,000 milliseconds. Okay, that's done. Looks good. Let's go ahead and test it out. Let's see if we can save it again. Let's start a new session and then we'll do the same thing for the timer and save the duration of the workout. This is very, very important as well. And in fact, we need to actually create a field for it. Okay, so we have name, timestamp, exercises. Let's do the duration as well. And for the duration, we can just use an integer, save that, minutes, whatever. Come back here. We need to recheck our custom functions, of course. Okay, looks good. And let's go ahead and modify our save logic. Look at the field. The duration is going to be from timer, widget state, timer time, milliseconds. Okay, so it has this milliseconds there, right? And so in order to display it, we obviously need to calculate minutes and seconds if you want. Okay, so we're saving milliseconds in there. Okay, so that's saved. And we have our test environment, but we need to reload it because we just made some changes. All right, let's wait for this to load our app. All right, start workout 1, add exercises. Let's add both of these. They're here, save. Hopefully that saved it. Let's go back here and we have a new workout. Okay. We have a new workout right here and there's the duration. There's the duration there as well. And so that's in milliseconds. So what we need to do is we need to divide it by 1,000. We're going to get seconds, which is 10 seconds. And I guess it was 10 seconds, right? When we saved it. So there's the name of the workout. Everything is there. And so it looks like it saved it correctly. What do we have? Sets, 2 sets, 10, 145, 10, 200, 10, 145, 10, 200. Actually, they're the same. They're the same, okay? And obviously, it should close this when we save it, right? It should get out, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to also add a dismiss, right? We're going to do dismiss. We're going to dismiss ourselves essentially, right? So it's going to display the snack bar here and it's going to dismiss it. But we also want to create some kind of a wait condition, maybe 2000. It doesn't dismiss it automatically. Let's go ahead and try this out. All right, there we go. Start the workout. There it started. 4 seconds, 7 seconds. Let's add 100, 200, 300, 400. Feeling good today. 22 seconds. Hit save. Workout saved. So we have that. It's displaying it correctly. Let's go back. We have this new workout. Is this the one? No, that is the old one. This is the new one, right? 22 seconds, almost 23 seconds, okay? All right, so as you can see, it's saving our workouts correctly in the database. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to fix the history page, right? So there's a history page here that displays workouts, previous workouts. So we want to make sure that we are displaying them correctly. So let's think about what we want to display. We want to display the name, and we want to display the date, and we also want to display the duration. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to duplicate this. This is going to be the duration name. And here we can display maybe the body parts that we worked on, right? The body parts or something else. But let's first get the other things working. So we're going to be doing a backend query, and we're going to be getting workouts here. And so this is going to be our name. This right here is going to be the timestamp. So this here is going to be the duration. And for the duration, we need to format it correctly. So a better way of doing it would be to use a code expression. Okay, so for instance, we're going to add an argument, which is going to be an integer, and we're going to say duration. And what we want to do is we want to get it first, right? So we're going to go into our workouts document, get duration, and we want to maybe display it as, you know, as minutes, for instance. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this duration divided by 1,000, we get seconds, divided by 60, and we get minutes. Okay, so something like this. Return time. All right, so now we have the duration in minutes. Click confirm. All right, so now let's go ahead and run this app, and let's see if it's displaying the workout history correctly. Let's go ahead and start a new test environment, or reuse an existing test environment here. Reload the app. All right, here we are. Let's go into history. And as you can see, we are displaying information, right? So there's the name. This is the default. This is the date. And we're showing minutes. Okay, we should probably format it correctly into seconds and minutes, and that is something I'm going to be doing next. But at least it looks pretty good. I don't know if I like that center kind of justification. Let's fix that. Let's go ahead and do it left justified. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it something like this. Like this. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and reload this and see how it looks right now. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, that looks better. And there's some overflowing error, but that error is going to go away once we format this this stuff properly here. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. And so instead of a code expression, we're going to be using a custom function. Remove this, a custom function here, because we need a little bit more code. Create a new function. Format duration, and this thing is going to return a string, and it's going to take in the duration, which is going to be an integer. Paste this code right here, rename our argument to kind of have it link, and that should be fine now. Let's go ahead and save this function, and we can also test it if you want. So let's say we got back, I don't know, 5,000, 50,000. So if you run that, let's see if it displays it correctly. And we get 0050, okay, which is 50 seconds. But let's say we have 500,000. Let's run that. And we get 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So hopefully it's around there somewhere, okay? Let's go ahead and close. Let's go back. Go ahead and save it. And now we can pass the value as a duration. So workouts duration. Confirm. We need to recheck the function. Let's go ahead and recheck it. Looks good. Let's go ahead and reload this. Okay, let's go to our history pane, and there we have it. So 00 because we weren't storing the timer. 10 seconds, 22 seconds. So looks good. And actually, to keep it clean, instead of displaying a list of exercises, you can have lots and lots of exercises. So this is going to be all over the place. We can just keep the name, the date, and the duration. Just keep it very, very nice and clean. Just delete this. And now we have a very kind of clean history, right? And the other thing I want to do is I want to give it a little bit of padding from the left, so something like this. So here you have a list, the name of the workout, you have a date, and you have the duration there. And obviously you might want to have a header there as well to kind of display the name, the list, etc. It's up to you how far you want to customize it, but we have all that data available to you. Now, the next thing I want to work on is the ability to click on a template and create a workout with these existing exercises. So remember, we have this functionality of having templates. So we have these templates here. And so what I want is I want the ability to click on a template and have the exercises already filled in. You still got to do the sets and the reps and all that, but at least you have a set number of exercises that you can start to do. And that is especially useful if you have set workouts, right? So you go, you have this arms routine, you have this chest routine, you have this legs routine, etc., etc. So this is a really, really nice feature. So let's go ahead and implement that now. Let's go ahead and go to the main page where it displays it. I think it's this page right here. And so here, this field here is going to display the name of the template. And this thing here is going to display the various exercises that fall under that template. And so if you run the app, you're going to see something like this. So I have this one template, we have slight overflowing, we're going to fix that. But you have these two exercises. And so here in my Firebase console, I have this template and I have these two exercises here. And so let's go ahead and see how to implement just that. So if we click, let's say, in the name of the template, what I want to do is I want to dump those exercises that are in the template to our app state so that they're going to be displayed automatically on that main that main active workout page there. Okay, and so if we come over here, we want to add an action. We're going to add an action, and what we want to do is we want to do state management. We're going to update app state. We're going to select our workout. And what we want to do is we want to set the state, right? Because initially we don't have any state, right? They load up the page. They can start a blank workout. They can start a workout from a template. They don't have any state. So we're going to set state. And here we are going to be creating our data type, right? So we first need to create this main workout data type. And here we can fill out the fields. And so let's say name is, random workout. Doesn't really matter. We'll work on that later. Now, if we add a field, we need to set the exercises because our app state has a workout and workout has name and an exercises field, which is actually a list of these data type exercise. And so now we need to set the exercises. So if I come here and let's say I pick template and I have these exercises reps and I click it, I can't really do anything, right? Because these two data types are incompatible, okay? So I can't directly copy it. And just like I talked about in the previous video, one of the previous videos, is that yes, you can, you can write a lot of custom code, custom functions, you name it. But the point is they're just not compatible. What you want to do is you want to click here, go to template, pick exercises here, and you just want it to work. And so just like in one of the previous videos where I talked about how the data is not compatible, what we need to do is we need to adjust our data types, how we are storing this data to match the app state. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this and I'm going to go back to, I want to show you my data types, right? So app state is this workout, right? This workout has exercises, which is a list of data exercises. And that's, how you want to store your exercises. And so if you go in here, if you go to templates, you have these exercise reps, which is a list of exercises. That's how we did it initially. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to just have exercises and we just want to have a list of exercise data type. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that and I'm going to come here and I'm going to say exercises. And this is going to be data type exercise, which is a list. So now we have a list, an array of exercise, which is the same thing in our app state, which is workout. If we come to workout, we have exercises, which is a list of exercise. So now they match. We've broken some things, but that's okay. But the point is now they match. And now if we are doing it correctly, we're using this data type, we can, take the data from our template, the exercises, and just copy it over to the app state. That way it's going to pre-fill the values on that main page. All right. So let's go ahead and fix some of the issues here. Okay. custom function. That's fine. Generate children. So there's some generate children issues. That's fine. We're going to fix that. So this is our child list view here inside of this grid view. So we're going to come here, and what we want to do is we want to select exercises now. So if we let's select exercises and click confirm, there's no error now. Okay, it might not display the names. We're going to fix that later. At least the error went away. So we have another issue here. And okay, so now this is the issue here. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is our list view. This is this text right here, and it's not doing it correctly. We need to get the data structure field. And so now we can just get exercise ref, and that should hopefully work. And so that error goes away. And so our last error is this custom function, which always, it always comes up after you change anything major because it needs to recheck. We just recheck, no errors and no issues. Okay. So now our app has no issues, and we changed the way that we are storing templates. Now the problem is once we run the app, we're not going to see anything because this is showing the old structure. So let me go ahead and run the app. Let me start a new session. We're not going to see the right data yet, but so we will have to fix that along the way as well. All right, so here's the app. Let's go in here, and as you can see, we're displaying the name because the name, remained the same. Come over here, we still have this name right here, but we're not displaying this because it doesn't understand the format anymore. And so how should this be stored? Well, if you go into users here and you go into workouts, you're going to see a workout that we saved using the correct data structure, right? So we have this exercises here, and this is essentially an array maps, right? So this is an array. You see it says an array, but if you come over here, it's a map. So this is an array of maps, and the map is the field name is exercise ref, and this is the document reference. This is the actual reference. And so what we need to do is we need to mimic this exact data structure here. So it's just exercise array consisting of maps, consisting of exercise ref, and the name of the field. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our root, the root of this data, and we're going to go into templates. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this collection called exercises, which is going to be an array. And inside the array, we're going to have maps. And so we're going to select map, and we're going to type exercise ref. And then we're going to go ahead and copy this reference here. Next, we're going to add another element, and same thing, it's going to be a map, exercise ref. This needs to be a reference. So let's go ahead and copy paste that again. This is going to be a reference. Paste the second one. These are the two exercises that we have. And so now we have exercises, which is an array of a map, and that has the references. Okay, so we can delete this one. It doesn't work anymore. And so let's go ahead and double check that. So exercise map, and then the actual reference. We go into exercises here, actually go to users here, workouts, we have exercises, and we have these things here. Okay, so this is the first one, this is the second one. And also they have sets in there, and we're going to worry about that later. The most important thing is the exercise information. Okay, so let's go back to our app. And as you can see, our app immediately refreshed, and now it's displaying the correct information because the data is correct now, that the way that we're storing it is correct now. All right, let's go ahead and implement this functionality. It should be fairly easy to do now that our data types are very, very similar, our data structures. Okay, let's go back to this app, to our UI. Let's add an action here. And what we're going to do is we are going to be modifying app state, update app state, only one workout. We're going to be setting app state because we don't have anything. We need to create a new data type, this workout, and add fields. So name is going to be temp random workout, and we need to add the most important field, which is exercises. So if we click here, templates, now we can select exercises, confirm, and there's no issues because it's the exact same data type, data structure. Now, at this point, what happens is when you click on it, it adds the right exercises into app state, but we're not done yet. When you click this starts a blank workout, right? An empty workout. It loads up this thing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this action, go back here, and we are going to paste this action, right? Because we want to load that component, right? That bottom sheet. And hopefully this bottom sheet should be populated with the data, right? Because this bottom sheet The only thing it has is the app state. That's all it's displaying, just the app state. And so now that we modify the app state here, we should be able to see it here. So let's go ahead and see if this works. Lots of things are happening. So let's test it out. All right, there's the app. Let's come over here. And so now this is clickable. We can click on it. And guess what? It opens it up and it creates our new workouts here. And so you can create a new set. You can do that. And there it is. You can modify this. Of course, we already tested this. Looks good. Everything works. We have the time and we can hit save. And that's going to save it. Workout save. It's going to exit. Now we can go back to our data and we should have a new workout. So I think it was probably this one. Okay, so there it is. Yeah, this is the workout. So it all saved it correctly. Now, there's one thing that's happening is that when we create a new workout from a template, we don't have any sets here. Because for instance, if you click here and you do an add exercise here, right, we are automatically adding a set here. But if you do the same thing here, if you click here, there's no sets. Okay, so if you want to create sets automatically, the best way to do it would be to store the sets in the template, right? Because that's what a template is. It needs to have the exact information that's going to display, that's going to be added when the user decides to use it. So if you look at our data right here, we have the sets and it's the same format, right? It's an array of maps with 3 fields, number, reps, and weight. And so we can go back in here, we can go to templates. We only have one template, so we can go to an exercise here and we can add that information inside. Okay, so for instance, I can come over here and so I can just add a new field. I'm just going to say sets, and sets is an array, number, reps, and weight. So I'm going to say an array. I'm going to say this is going to be a map, and so this is going to say number, integer, we're going to say 1. This is going to say reps, and this is going to say weight. And here I'm going to put number, right? Exactly what we have here, right? You see that number, reps, and weight. And I'm going to put, let's say 10, 125, whatever. And if I add that, now this exercise, whatever that exercise is, once you add it, it's going to have a set added to it automatically. And we can do the same thing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, add a field, sets, which is an array. And that's going to be a map, and that's going to be number 1, and I'm going to add more fields, reps. Okay, and I'm going to put, let's say 10 reps. All right, so now we have 2 exercises and each one has 1 set. Okay, and so now if we reload the app and we add that template, it should automatically have the sets with it. Okay, so this is our template. Click here. And as you can see, the sets are automatically added here, and we can add new sets. We can do the exact same thing that we've been doing so far in this tutorial. So we can click save. Gonna save all this data here, workout saved. Go back to our database here, take a look at our workouts. Back here, workouts. Okay, this is probably the workout. As you can see, it's all saved perfectly, and we can do whatever we want with this data. All right, so one of the last things that we still need to do is a chart. So if you recall from the templates, when the user logs in, there's this workouts per week. And the idea here is that we're going to display a week, days of the week on the x-axis, this horizontal axis. And then we're going to display the frequency of the workouts per each day. Okay. And so this is going to be a good opportunity to learn about charting in FlutterFlow, which is a very, very easy to use, very, very simple, but still very powerful widget. All right. So let's go back into the app and let's go ahead and find the homepage. And we are going to dump this chart widget. Be using this chart widget, and this chart widget can be used in different forms, right? You can do a line chart, bar, and or a pie chart. So I'm going to select bar, and here you can configure the data source. Okay, so you can either do Firestore documents or numbered lists. We're just going to do numbered lists to keep it simple, and so we need to pass two series, right? We need to pass the labels, right? An array of items for to show as a label on the bottom, and then we need to pass the actual values. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so for the labels, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a custom function. Click here, and this function is just gonna return the days of the week. Okay, so it's gonna return a list of strings, and what we're gonna do is do this Monday, Tuesday, and so this is our x-axis. This is our label here, confirm. And now we need to return the values. Okay, and so what we're going to be doing is we need to calculate the frequency of the workouts per a given day of the week. And so in this case, what we need to do is we need to create a custom function that's going to do it for us. So I'm going to come in here, custom functions, create a new custom function here, and we are going to call it get frequency. And so this custom function is going to return a list of numbers. So it's going to return 7 numbers, and each number will signify the number of times the user works out per the specific date. So let's say you have 7 numbers. The first number is 3, and then it's all zeros. That means that person has 3 workouts on Monday, right? Because the first number signifies Monday. The last number is going to signify Sunday. So we're going to return a list of integers, and we are going to take in a list of dates for the workout. So we're just going to pass all the dates from all the workouts. And so here we're just going to say workouts, and we're going to pass a list, and this is going to be a list of date time. And I actually went ahead and I wrote this function, very, very simple function. Okay, so we are creating a list, and what I'm doing is I am filling it with ones. We probably fill in with zeros is better. And then we're cycling through the dates, and we are creating like a frequency array. Let's go ahead and save this here. Okay, and now we need to pass the list of dates. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, we first need to load the history of our workout. Okay, we can't get this from app state or anything like that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to load the workouts that we have at the top level. So this homepage level, we're going to come here at a backend query collection, and we're going to just get all the workouts, and we are going to get them from the authenticated user, right? User reference. And we're going to click here, user record reference, and we want a list, not just one, confirm. And so now we have this data. We can go back to chart, and we can pass, we can use that function and pass those values. So we're going to come here, search for get frequency. It wants a list of dates. We're going to select workouts. We're going to do map list items, item and list, get document property, and we want the timestamp. The timestamp is the time that the user finished the workout. Format, right? Date time right here, confirm, and that's all we need to do. So this is going to return that array of 7 numbers, and each number is the frequency for that specific day of the week. Now, we're not done yet. There's a couple of things that you may want to do. So you can show the legend here. So if you click here, you can have this legend there, but we don't really need that. I do want to show a grid. I want to show a border. That's really nice. Now, if we scroll down on the x-axis, what I want to do here is I want to show labels, right? I want to show the actual labels, and I want to do the same thing on the y-axis. You're going to scroll down, and you're going to select show labels. That's the number of workouts on that specific day of the week. Okay. Another thing I want to do is I want to have this width take up the whole thing, and the height, yeah, that's fine. 250, 230, whatever. That's absolutely fine. The height, it shouldn't be too long. Now for the bar labels, we also need a custom function to return the list of labels. So let's go ahead and take a look at this function. Okay, so there's our function. We just didn't name it correctly. So I'm just going to say get labels, and we're going to say save. This is going to give us the labels, this horizontal line here. And this is going to be the frequency. Okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe we want to, and to get some text up on top, and we want to maybe make it a little bit bigger, about something like this, and we want to give it something like this. It says dashboard 30 workout summary or workout report. That looks pretty good. And let's also give it column level. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and reload the app. All right, so there you go. So as you can see, there's 5 here, which means 5 workouts because this reaches this level, and it's all on Thursday, which is today, incidentally. And so if we go into our database here in our Firestore, as you can see, we have 5 workouts, and I was testing them all today. So as the result, you're seeing them all on the same date. Now let's go ahead and spread these areas here. They're just a little too tight. So let's see if we can fix that and kind of make them a little bit spread out. And let's go back to the app like this. And what we want to do is we want to do some bar spacing. Okay, so let's do 16. See how that looks. Maybe make it a little bit bigger since there's only 7 items here. All right, now it's much better. Look at this now. You can actually see the difference. Obviously, if you create more workouts, you change the dates. In fact, we can change the date for one of these workouts here. Let's go ahead and change the timestamp. Let's say this was on a Wednesday. And we come back here. You see now it's a 1 here, 4 here. And let's change one of the other workouts as well on a Monday. Let's say this workout was on a Monday. Update this. All right, so as you can see, that is the app. We have the workout report here. This is our history here. This is our start workout screen, so we can start a brand new workout. We can cancel, it doesn't save anything, or we can add exercises here. We have new exercises. We can save it if we want, or just cancel out. And if you come over here, you have a list of exercises. Now, in this case, we don't need to display check marks here because this is just a list. So in this case, we just want to have just a regular list. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to come back out to the app and fix it real quick. So if we come here, we have our exercises, right? So in this case, we don't want to, have that component there, right? We just want to have a regular list. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a list view here. I'm going to replace this and I'm going to have some rows. And inside the list, I can have some tiles, right? So there's this list tile here. There's various interesting tiles. So I can do something like this. Inside the list, I can have this list tile here. And then I can configure it with some information. So this list view, we're going to come here and we're just going to pull up our exercises. Exercises, list of exercises. And then this, I'm just going to configure it, right? Title is going to be exercises name. And the subtitle, maybe the type of category or body part. Let's do body part. Body part here. And if you want, you can also have a detailed screen or something like this, but I think it's going to be an overkill. If we go ahead and recheck our custom functions real quick. Okay, go ahead and reload the app. And now we should have just a regular old screen there without any kind of check marks or anything like that. Okay, so this is our dashboard. Come in here. Come here, and then we have this regular screen here, and you can obviously group them as you want. I think in the app examples they're grouping it, or they're not grouping it. Actually, they're just displaying it. So here you can also search, you can add new exercises, which is all very, very simple, because the hardest thing was actually building this thing out. There's a lot of dynamic, there's a lot of app state happening, and this is the heart, right? This is why people buy the app, because they want to track their exercises, and this is exactly what the app does. So you can come over here, you can just click this. If you click this, it creates these exercises for you, creates a timer, you can cancel out, or you can click here and just start with your regular workout. It's really, really up to you. Now, did you know that you guys can view and or clone this exact app that I built from my Patreon page? And when you join our amazing Patreon community, not only will you be able to view and or clone this exact app, but you'll be able to clone pretty much all the apps that I built on this channel. And additionally, when you join our incredible Patreon community, you're going to get access to some extra content such as Q&As, live streams, behind the scenes content, and our exclusive Patreon supported masterclass series where I do a deep dive on a topic that the community votes on. And above all, when you become a member of our Patreon community, you're going to be supporting this channel and supporting my work, and that is highly, highly appreciated. Now, I actually have more of these comprehensive tutorials where I build all kinds of apps from scratch, and you can find more of these videos linked right